have that one, but I don't remember the password. I have one video up. Remember, Dave?
It could be the Nightmare show with Mary.
It was.
It was.
Drunk cooking or something.
Yeah, I was doing my own version of Drunk Kitchen. Like, is that what it was? That show that girl did, like Drunk Kitchen or something?
Sounds like a good way to get burned, honestly.
Yeah, I'm surprised she has never. Well, she probably has gotten hurt, but
Oh, I'm not even a subscriber on this.
she used to be so funny, and then she got all liberal
Shit.
and shit. No,
Shit.
shit, what?
I'm fucking it up because I'm bad.
No.
Let's try this. I'm gonna start sharing it.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's not like I'm ruining it or anything. It's just okay. Now I sort of am. It's super low latency too, so it's not like I can be like, "Oh, what? You guys barely saw that." It's just like, nope, here it is.
No, it's all going on.
Oh, this is this the thing? Is this happening? Oh, great.
It's happening.
Let's see how quick it is. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like 2 seconds.
Oh my gosh, that's so
That's
fast.
so fast.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it because you can like actually have a conversation with somebody on there.
Right.
Court
It's
says
really-
here and ready to rage. Oh, trust me, I'm gonna give Facebook a fucking earful on my next episode. But here we're here to have fun. But I'm done with them. I'm actually done. Like I don't care if I only have 3 people a show. I'm never streaming to Facebook again. I'm done. Oh, shit. Skype is trying to tell me something. Okay, how's audio balance?
I can't. I'm not hearing the stream.
That's fine. I can't hear it either, so it's fair. You know.
I'm about to bring it up. I shouldn't be sending any of this across, so.
Yeah.
so we can-
I hear Mary vape. There we go. That's good. See, I mean, I'm sure even for the people watching the stream, like the first time I went to YouTube, everybody was like, "Whoa, this is so fast," because it is.
It is, yeah. I hear
I just turned it on.
Oh, okay. Wait, when's it gonna stop echoing?
When's what gonna stop echoing? Is that me echoing?
Oh, in my ear. No, I think it's our end because Dave did
No,
the thing.
I have the stream playing and I turned it up.
Oh.
That's how quick.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
it's
see.
a
Oh,
s-
so I'm not going to hear myself. Oh, you were just doing that as an example.
Yeah.
Court said there's a slight desync in the lips, but that usually gets ironed out after streaming for a minute. So
Oh, okay.
why?
Yeah, oh, he
is-
was just showing me how quick it. Wow, that is really fast. It's all good. There's
Okay, yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
less than. It's like 5 seconds.
Now we got the comments here.
Holy moly! It's all good. There's very slight standard voice. Oh, okay.
Oh wow, you get a break from the commercials. What are you
Yeah.
watching it?
Very nice. Oh, Aaron can watch it on his TV.
Yes, you
Yay,
can.
everybody.
You can watch it from your TV.
You are on as David right now, by the way.
That's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just
Okay.
looking at the comments.
Okay.
It's a little late now. I mean, you guys had like a public Facebook page and everything.
No, my son. I'm on my
It's-
son's YouTube.
Yeah,
Oh,
as,
okay.
like as little D3.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and share this video to all my Facebook stuff so that Facebook people can
yeah,
find it.
yeah, definitely.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah, put it on Liberty Late Night.
Can you guys?
For sure.
Are you guys watching the CNN stream?
Right now it's going.
It's-
Oh, I don't.
The debate?
Yeah. I think. Let's see what happens.
Why is it so fucking quiet? All right, I'm gonna have to turn down everything else to make this louder because CNN thinks I have
Okay.
delicate ears. So
I can't hear the thing, Dave. Oh, okay. And it's only going to us then?
whoops, I hit the wrong one.
This notion that you're going to take private
That's
insurance
not
away
going
from
out, right?
180 million
To him.
Americans.
No, no, it's not. It's
Many of
fine.
them don't
Okay.
want to give it. Many of them do want to get rid of it, but some don't. Many don't. Or you're going to, the Green New Deal, make sure that every American's guaranteed a government job that they want. That is a disaster
I need
at,
to-
at the ballot box. You might as well FedEx the election.
You
to
guys
Donald
listen.
Trump. I think we got to focus on where Donald Trump is
Yeah, they're just
failing.
doing commercials right now.
The word
They
No,
finished
he's-
commercials.
I always thought it was doctors
Yeah.
and lawyers. It's
Oh, you have to do a
negligent,
commercial because you just showed up to
improper, illegal,
CNN.com.
Professional activity
Maybe that's what it
for
is.
doctors,
Most
lawyers,
likely.
and public
Kind
officials.
of paused.
Google it. Check it
Probably
out.
still have
You
to
probably
do it.
skipped through an ad window.
Malpractice personified.
I see.
We've got to
I'm probably
point
gonna
that
watch
out. Why is it
15 minutes
soybean
worth of
farmers in
Hopefully
Iowa
not.
need 10 good years to get back to where they were 2
All
years ago?
right, let's
Where's
see.
the
We haven't
small
gotten.
manufacturing jobs
I
that
guess
were
it's not
coming up?
Zuck. Too.
Why
We
are
haven't gotten
rushing from
Googled
one
yet. I don't know.
international crisis to another? All things that
Googled?
cost American voters. We've got to focus on that and the economy and jobs and training so that we can promise a future for America.
Oh,
that
yay,
Yeah, you
Aaron.
guys,
everybody
you guys
wants
have
to
to say
invest
heart
in.
react.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Sanders, you are a proud
Longhand
Democratic
heart react.
socialist. How do
Oh,
you respond to
yeah.
Governor
Okay,
McCarthy?
I'm gonna turn you guys down just a little bit more. It seems like you just a hair loud.
Okay.
I need to see myself. Why did I stop? I was just talking.
I'm happy for Aaron. He's excited. He's got it on his TV.
All right, that should be better.
Fine.
Speak me. Oh, that's way better. Awesome. See, it's just like 3 seconds, and then I'm like, all right, cool. Audio's good. Okay.
You're super loud too, says Court. Oh yeah, you can see that. That's
Yeah,
why am I
I
telling
just
you.
I just turned it down. So is that better now?
Thank you, Senator. In the world, I've helped lead the epidemic.
We're
Senator.
Bernie
Governor,
yelling.
Governor
Why
Brown,
are we
bring you
still
back to
watching
respond.
commercials?
Because I
Again,
had it paused
I
for
think if we're
10
going to
minutes.
force Americans to make these radical changes,
You're like, you will
they're not
pay.
gonna go
It
along
looks like
with
healthcare is the
Throw
big
your
hang
hands
up tonight.
But you haven't
Yeah.
Oh, I can do it. But you haven't implemented the plans. Us
All right.
governors
It's like
Go
we're,
ahead.
mayors
we're
are the
watching
ones that we have
CNN,
to
all these
pick up
CNN
all the
commercials.
commercials.
When
Group
suddenly the
two.
government's supposed to take over all these responsibilities, and there's no preparation, the details aren't work. You
Two
can't
groups,
just
copy
spring a
me.
plan on the world and expect it to
I'm just
succeed.
watching
Senator Sanders. John,
stupid
I was
commercials.
a mayor, and I helped
And you
transform my
were.
city. I have some practical experience. Second
Stream
of
it
all,
live now.
Interestingly enough,
Remember-
today is the
Oh,
anniversary
that's
of Medicare. 54 years ago, under Lyndon Johnson and the Democratic
Oh my
Congress,
gosh,
they
how many
started a new
commercials do we have to
program.
watch from
After 1
missing
year, 19 million
so
elderly
much?
people in it. Please
This
don't
is
tell
fair
me
use, damn it.
that in a 4-year period we cannot go from 65
Yeah, that's
to
what my
55
my
to
comment
45 to
is.
35. This is
Mm-hmm.
not radical. This is what
Just in
virtually
case anybody's
every other
wondering.
country on
Thank you,
earth
Senator.
does. We are.
Thank you, Senator.
We
I
are
want to bring
dying
in,
out.
I want to bring in Congressman
Oh,
Ryan. You're
Ariana's
from the
here.
state of Ohio. It's a state
Hi.
that voted
No
twice
one
for
cares, you
Obama
boomer.
and then went to
Yes.
President Trump in
I'm
2016.
pumped.
Please
I'm
respond to
super
Senator
excited
Sanders.
you're
I would just
here.
say
I promise I'll be
Hillary
more
Clinton
engaged
was
the
winning in
second I
polls, too.
get all
To
this
take a snapshot in
figured
the
out.
polls today and
It'd be
apply
awesome
it
if we
16
could
months from now,
see
whenever it
that.
Oh,
is, I don't
that's-
think is accurate. Now, in this
I know we keep
discussion
getting
already tonight,
commercials.
we've talked about
Same thing
taking
with Dave,
private health
though. He
insurance
does the
away
same
from
thing.
union members in the industrial Midwest. We've talked
watch
about
this with,
decriminalizing the border,
delay.
and we've talked about giving free health care
How
to
much of a delay,
undocumented
though?
workers
Like, I
when
mean,
so many
what do you mean,
Americans
like,
are struggling to pay for
what
their
are we
health care.
watching?
I quite frankly don't think that that is an agenda that we can
Debates
move forward
themselves
on
are
and win.
quieter.
We've got to talk about the
It is
working
quiet
class
to me.
issues, the people that take a shower after work who haven't had a raise in 30 years.
Thank you,
If we
Congressman.
focus
Echo, no,
on
William.
that, we'll win the election.
No.
Thank you, Congressman. I want to bring Congressman O'Rourke. Your response,
I mean,
sir?
my echo.
Bernie was
No,
talking
you're
about some
fine.
of the
There's no
battleground
echo.
states in which we compete. There's
There's echo
a
on
new
my
battleground
end.
state, Texas, and it has 38
Do you have the
electoral
stream
college
open,
votes.
or-
And the way that we put it in play was by
Yes.
going to each one of those 254 counties. No matter how
I'm
red
not sending
or
any
rural,
audio
we
back
did
to
not
you
write
guys
off.
that isn't through the
No matter
microphone.
how blue or urban, we did not
Oh.
take you
Oh,
for granted.
here we are.
And we didn't trim our sails either. We had the courage of our convictions,
Oh, thank
talking
God.
about universal health care, comprehensive immigration
There we
reform,
go.
and confronting the challenge of climate before it is too late.
Are you guys
We
listening
brought
to Beto?
everyone in, and now we have
Thank
a
you.
chance
Yeah, now
to
we
beat
got it.
Donald
Yes.
Trump
All right, cool.
with
Thank
Texas.
you, Congressman. I want to bring Governor Bullock. We're talking about whether Democrats are moving too far to the left to win the
Oh,
White
and
House.
the-
President Trump
the delay
won
is
your
like
home state of Montana
half
by
a
20
second.
points.
That's
How do
it.
you
Oh,
respond,
this is
sir?
amazing.
Yeah, as the only one of the field of 37
I posted
that actually
it
won
on my
a Trump
page.
state.
If you want to, I don't know if you want to
25
share it
of
or
my
care,
voters
but
voted for Donald Trump. I know that we do
To your
have
page
to
or
win
something.
back some of those places we lost
Dave's
and get those Trump voters
on
back.
that.
We're ever
Thanks
going
for
to
being
win.
on
But
everything,
this
Dave.
isn't just a choice between the left and the
Sounds
center.
bad.
It's not a choice just between
Sounds good.
sort of these wish list economics or thinking that we have to sacrifice.
Keep saying
our
that, wish list
values
economics.
to
Like, I
actually
understand what he's
win.
saying,
What
but
folks want
it's
is
just
a
not
fair
connecting.
shot.
The way I won, the way we can win is
a
actually
really bad
focusing on
slogan.
the economy and democracy aren't working for most people.
Thank you,
That's
Governor.
how I win. That's how we
Thank
can
you, Governor.
take back the office.
Senator
Is that
Warren,
his
you make it
thing?
a point to say that
Just
you're a
to say
capitalist.
that, his
Is
slogan?
that your way of convincing voters that you might be a safer choice than Senator Sanders?
No, it is my way of talking about I know how to fight and I know how to win. I took on giant
Bernie
banks
almost choked.
and I beat them. I took on Wall Street and CEOs and their lobbyists and their lawyers, and I beat them. I took on a
Put the knife back
popular
down.
Republican
Not during the
incumbent
debate.
senator, and I beat him. I remember when people said Barack
You know-
Obama couldn't get elected. Sure,
I know
remember
we're
when
listening to
people
Elizabeth
said
Warren,
Donald
but
Trump
just how
couldn't
good
get
that this
elected.
stream is doing
But
on ultra
here's
low
where
latency
we are.
almost proves the fact
I
that
get it.
Facebook put
There
me
is a
on
lot
a
at
shit tier
stake,
bandwidth.
and
Just
people
saying.
are
Just
scared.
throwing that out there.
But we can't choose
Fuck
a
Zuck.
candidate we don't believe
Yeah.
in just because we're too
They're all
scared to
about
do
punishment.
anything else. And
Yeah,
we
I'm coming.
can't
You guys-
ask
you guys are
other
with me.
people
Whoops,
to
shit.
vote for a candidate we don't believe in.
All right, cool. I shared it.
Democrats win when we figure out what is
I tagged
right
you in the share
and
also.
we get out there and fight for it.
Thank you.
I am not afraid. And for Democrats to win, you can't be afraid either.
Congressman Delaney, your response?
So I think Democrats win when we run on real solutions, not impossible promises. When we
fair.
run on things that are workable, not fairy tale economics. Look at the story of Detroit, this amazing city that we're in. This city is turning around because the government and the private sector are working well together.
Detroit has
That
the slowest
to be
economic
our model
recovery
going
of
forward.
any city
we
in
need
the
to
U.S.
encourage collaboration between the government, the private sector, and the nonprofit sector, and focus on those kitchen table, pocketbook issues that matter to hardworking Americans. Building
keep cringing
infrastructure,
at,
creating
like,
jobs, improving their pay,
the government
creating
helping.
universal health care,
Thank you,
lowering drug
Congressman.
prices.
It just makes me cringe. Like
I don't
that's
understand why anybody goes to
No,
all
it
the
doesn't.
trouble of running for president of the United States just to talk about what we really can't do and shouldn't fight for.
That's a horrible argument. That's a terrible argument from Warren. I don't want to talk about what we shouldn't fight for. That's 100% like.
It is
What
giant
are you going to fight for,
corporations that
like,
have taken our
deregulating
government
guns?
and that are
No.
holding it
That's a
by
terrible
the
argument.
throat. And we need to have the courage
What do
to
you want?
fight back
Oh, a beer? Sure,
against
yeah.
that. And until we're ready to do that,
Yeah, let me
it's
find it
just
for you.
more of the same. Well, I'm ready to get in this fight. I'm ready to win this
Thank you,
fight.
Senator. Congressman Delaney.
Here he
When
is.
we
She's ready to
created
win
Social
this fight.
Security, we didn't say pensions were illegal.
Can I enable closed
Right? We
captioning?
can
I
have
100%
big
can.
ideas to transform the lives. I mean, I started 2 companies and took them public before I was 40. I'm as big of a dreamer and an entrepreneur as anyone. But I also believe we need to have solutions that are workable.
Oh,
Can
that
you
way if
imagine
they don't
we
wanna
tried
listen to
start
us, they
Social
can still just
Security
read
now,
that.
but said private
There you
pensions are
go.
illegal. That's the equivalent of what Senator Sanders and Senator Warren are proposing with health care. That's not a big idea. That's an idea
around.
that's dead on
Yeah.
arrival. That
He's
will
always down
never
here.
happen. So why don't we actually talk about things, big ideas that we can get
Ooh,
done?
she's like-
Stakes are
Congressman.
too
Ooh,
high.
her.
Senator Warren.
So look, he talks.
We'll come to you right after that.
All the posts I just made.
Senator Warren.
Ooh, they
talks
shut her
about
down.
Solutions that are workable. We have tried the solution of Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance. And what have the private insurance companies done?
She almost
They've
went full
sucked
Dr. Phil.
billions of dollars out of our healthcare system. They've made everybody fill out dozens and dozens of forms.
Oh, you have to
Why?
fill
Not
out
'cause they're trying to crack
forms.
Their healthcare. They just want one
Not
more
forms.
excuse to say no.
Not forms.
Insurance companies do not have a
That's
God-given
it.
right to suck
Forms of
money
the
out of our
downfall of this nation.
healthcare
Yep.
system.
Thank you,
And
Senator.
2020 is our chance to
Okay,
start.
so she said health insurance companies don't have a right to suck your money out of you. You don't have to have health insurance anymore.
But let us understand,
don't want
Detroit
it.
was nearly destroyed
You
because
don't want
of
that money
awful
sucked out of you.
trade policy, which allowed
You're allowed to
corporations
not have it
to throw
now?
workers
Now, yeah.
in this
Is that
what
country
happened?
out on the street as they
Oh,
move to
wow.
low-wage countries.
There's not
To
tax
win
credit
this election
anymore.
and to defeat Donald Trump, which, by the way, in my view, is not
Did
going to
not
be
know
easy.
that.
We need to have a campaign of energy and
you
excitement
gotta get a new
and
vape.
of vision.
Who?
We need to
Christian?
bring millions
Why?
of
No,
young
his is
people
probably great.
into the political process in a way that we have never seen by, among other things, making
respect
public
you, Senator. It
colleges
sucks.
and universities tuition free and canceling student
Thank
debt.
you, Senator. Thank you, Sarah. I want to bring in
Cancel that student debt.
I want to bring in Senator Klobuchar. At the beginning of the night, you said you're going to hear a lot of promises on
Oh,
the
thank
stage.
you, Christian. I'm so
Previously, you
happy
have
to be
said,
back.
When asked about your
So
primary
pumped.
opponents, quote, A lot of people are making promises, and I'm not going to make promises just to get elected.
have any
Who on this
experience
stage is making promises just to get elected?
Ooh, this is good.
Everyone wants to get elected. But my point is this. I think when we have a guy in the White House that is now
Oh,
vocal
you
and tells
loser.
lies, that we
She's
better be
taking
very
the easy way
straightforward
out.
with the American
Call
people.
him out.
And no, do I think
Right?
that we are going to
Say
end
it.
up voting for a
Warren is
plan
making
that
promises
kicks
she
half of
can't
America
keep.
off
Bernie
of their
is
current
making
insurance in
promises.
4
All
years?
of them
No,
are.
I
Yeah.
don't think we're
Say
going
it.
to do that. I think there is a
wanna
better
see a
way
bloodbath.
to get what we all want to see, which is lower costs for health care. Do I think that we're going to vote to give free college to the wealthiest kids? No, I don't think we're going to do that. So that's what I'm talking about. But what I don't like about this argument right now, what I don't like about
See,
it
so
at
now
all
they're, like,
is that we are more
creating
worried about winning
a
an
class
argument
bias
than winning
system.
an election. And I think how
And that's
we
a
win
huge
an
problem.
election is to bring everyone with us. And yes, I am one in a state every single time statewide. I have won those congressional districts that Donald Trump won by over 20 points. He just targeted Minnesota last week. And I've done it by getting out there and talking to people, by knowing rural
You
issues
can't
and
talk-
farm issues, and bringing Metro
can't
people
talk
with
to
me
everybody.
in the state that had the
Thank you,
highest
Senator
voter turnout in
Thank
the
you, Senator.
country.
That's
I wanna
another
bring
bad
up,
argument.
Congressman O'Rourke, please respond.
You know, I think a big part of leadership and showing our commitment to the American people is delivering on our commitments. As a member of Congress, when I learned that the El Paso VA had the worst wait times for mental health care in the country, meaning that care delayed functionally became
feel
care
Spanish
denied
coming on.
and was related to the suicide epidemic. We made it our
coming.
priority and we turned around the VA in El
Somebody's gonna be
Paso.
talking like
We
this
took
is-
that lesson nationally, and I worked with Republican and Democratic
Texas
colleagues to
VA
expand
sucks. What are you
mental health
talking
care
about?
to veterans, and we got it signed into law by the one person with whom I agree on almost nothing, Donald Trump, to show that at the end of the day, we will put the American
Thank
people
you.
first before party, before any other concern.
Thank you, Congressman O'Rourke. We've been asking voters to weigh in on what they'd most like to hear Democrats debate. Among the topics they told us they're most interested in,
Hey, we're in double
the climate
digits.
crisis.
Hey,
Congressman Delaney, I'll
How do
start
you-
with
how
you.
do you
You
see
say
that?
the Green New Deal is
Nice.
about as realistic as Trump saying Mexico was going to pay for the wall. But scientists say we need essentially to eliminate fossil fuel
got a good song
pollution
for
by
the Green Deal.
2050 to avoid the most catastrophic consequences.
Yeah.
Why isn't this sweeping plan to fight the climate crisis realistic?
Well, first of all, because it ties
Because the
its
projections are
progress
wrong.
to other things that are completely unrelated to climate, like universal health care, guaranteed government jobs, and universal basic income. So that only makes it harder.
I'm not a climate
My
change
plan,
denier
which gets us to net
by
zero
any
by
means,
2050,
but
which
the
we
idea that,
absolutely
like,
have
oh,
to do
dude, we're all
for
gonna
our
die
kids and
if
our
we don't fix
grandkids,
everything by 2050
will get us
is-
there. I put
is
a
not
price on
true.
carbon,
It's not.
take all the money, give
yeah,
it back to
it's
the
like
American people in a dividend. That was introduced by
shorter
me on
and
a
shorter our time here on
bipartisan
Earth.
basis. It's the only significant
We're all
bipartisan
going to be dead
climate
in
bill
36
in the
months.
Congress. I'm going to increase the Department of Energy research budget by fivefold because we fundamentally
Oh,
have
good.
to innovate our
Increasing
way out of this
budgets.
problem. I'm going to create a market for something called direct air capture, which are machines that actually take carbon out of the atmosphere. Because I don't think we'll get to net zero by 2050 unless we have those things. I'm going to increase investment in renewables, and I'm going to create something called the Climate Corps.
Yeah, he said Cali
That
should
is a
be in the
plan.
middle of the Pacific
It's
by now. Yeah,
realistic.
exactly.
It's a bet on the U.S. private innovation economy and creates the
What's Al
incentives
Gore?
to get us
Yeah.
to net zero by 2050
Thank
for
you.
our kids.
Thank you, Congressman. Senator Warren, you're a co-sponsor of the Green New Deal.
Oh,
Your
no, I have to
response to
deal like
Congressman
this.
Delaney.
So climate
Oh, I hope
crisis
it's looking at
is
the
the
camera as we
existential
promise.
crisis for our world. It puts every living thing on this planet at risk. I have a plan for a green industrial policy that takes advantage of the fact that we do what we do best, and that is innovate and create. So I've proposed putting $2 trillion in so we do the
Killing
research.
industries does
We
not
then
promote
say
innovation
anyone
and
in the world can
creation.
use it, so long as you build it right here in America.
It makes a lot of
That will
people
produce
poor.
about
That's what it
1.2
does.
million manufacturing jobs right here in Michigan, right here in Ohio, right here in the industrial Midwest. And the second thing we will do is we will then sell those products all around the world. Right now, for every $1 the United
you.
States spends trying to market around the world,
Thank you,
China's
Senator Warren.
spending
Just be honest.
$100.
Thank you, Senator Warren. Governor Hickenlooper, you take issue with the Green New Deal.
Remember when
Please
you speak
respond.
global warming?
Well, I think the guarantee for a
I think
public
it's
job
really,
for everyone who wants
it's
one is
hilarious
a
that
classic part of the
she
problem
makes
of
that argument.
extraction.
Every $1
I
we
share the
spend
urgency of
on
everyone
renewable
up
energy,
here.
they're spending
We have
$100.
to
That's
recognize
because we already
everyone's
have
got good
renewable
ideas. What we do
infrastructure
in this
built.
country is
Like,
no
they're
better than
just
a
now
best
starting.
practice, right? It's What we do here is a best practice and a template, but it's got to be done all over the world. So we've got to be building bridges right now with people like China who were cheating on international agreements and stealing intellectual property. We need to work on that, but not with the tariff system. We need every country working together if we're going to really deal with climate change in a realistic way.
Thank you. Senator Warren, your response.
That's fine. I don't like tariffs, but the rest of his argument sucks.
To create 1.2 million new jobs in green manufacturing. There's going to be a $23 trillion.
There is no way you can make $1.2 million manufacturing jobs and keep that as a net green.
And no one wants to talk about it. What you want to do instead
Unless they're all run by robots and perfectly efficient and waste no materials.
Piece of
That's
some other
impossible.
part and say, oh, we don't really have to do anything. That's the problem we've got in Washington right now. It continues to be a Washington that works.
They're giving
great
her
for
so much
oil
time.
companies, just not for people worried
Thank
about
you,
Yeah, I
Senator
mean,
Warren.
she gets
Congressman
ratings up.
Ryan, we are here in Michigan, where there are about 180,000 workers in auto
She's gotta
manufacturing.
have some makeup on
Your
her
state
chest
of
and
Ohio
not be
has
all,
around
like, blotchy and
96,000
red.
workers in that industry. Senator Sanders is co-sponsoring a bill that would eliminate new gas-powered car sales by 2040.
Yeah.
Given the number of auto manufacturing workers in
Gas-powered
your
car
state,
sales
how
banned by
concerned are you
2040.
about Senator Sanders' plan?
Well, if we
Guys,
get our
that's
act
20
together, we
years.
won't have to worry about it. My plan is to create a chief
won't even be
manufacturing
50
officer
yet.
so we could actually start making things in the United States again that would pull the government, the Department of Energy, Department of Transportation, work with the private sector, work with investors, emerging tech companies to dominate the electric vehicle market. China dominates it now, 50 to 60%. I want us to dominate the battery market, make those here in the United States and cut the workers in on the deal. The charging stations, solar panels, same thing. China dominates 60% of the solar panel market. So this person will work in the White
Because they
House,
have
report
triple
directly
the
to me,
energy
and we're gonna
demand.
start making things again. But you cannot get there on
right.
climate unless we talk about agriculture. We need to convert our industrial agriculture system over to a sustainable and regenerative agriculture system that actually sequesters carbon into
Exactly.
the soil. And you can go ask.
We'll just elect
you can go ask
Oprah
Gabe
and she'll buy
Brown
everyone a
and
Tesla.
Alan
Do they know how hard it is to get
Williams who
lithium?
actually
It's
make
incredibly
money off of
difficult.
regenerative agriculture. So we
They're
can move away
sequestering
from
carbon,
all the
though.
subsidies that we're giving the farmers. They haven't made a profit in 5 years, and we could start getting good food.
They haven't
into
made a
our
profit
schools,
because they
into
haven't
our
needed to
communities.
make a profit.
That's going to drive healthcare
Because
down.
subsidies
That's another
keep
part of
them
the healthcare
afloat, even if their
conversation that we don't
farms
even have.
sucks.
How do we start
Thank you,
talking about
Congressman
health
Ryan.
instead of just disease care?
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Your response?
Yeah.
I get a little bit tired
Oh, the chat's actually up
of
there.
Democrats
Yeah,
afraid
it's
of
above
big
your heads,
ideas.
yeah.
Republicans are not afraid of
tired.
big ideas. They could give $1 trillion
a little bit
tax
tired.
breaks
Yeah,
to
as a
billionaires
mole.
and profitable
His hand,
corporations.
the other little guy was like,
They could
I
bail
feel
out
bad
the
the chat is
folks
covering
on
up
Wall
on my
Street.
side, his hand.
So please don't
It
tell
looks so
me
weird,
that
so
we
you watch the
cannot
hands flail.
take on the fossil fuel industry and nothing happens unless we do that.
get both of them going.
Here is the bottom line. We got to ask ourselves
Dude, his
a
eyes are
simple
gonna fall
question.
out.
What do you do with an industry that knowingly, for billions of dollars in short-term profits, is destroying this planet?
Anytime
I say that
anybody,
is criminal
like,
activity
loves on this
that
guy, I'm
cannot
like, you
be allowed.
fucker
Thank you,
said
Senator
that Ron
Sanders.
Paul was too
Congressman, your
old.
response.
I know.
I would just say, I didn't say we couldn't get there till 2040, Bernie. You don't have to yell. I mean, all I'm saying is,
You don't have to
we
yell.
have to invent our way out of this thing. If we're waiting for 2040 for a ban to come in on
can't control
gasoline
the volume
vehicles,
of my voice.
we're screwed. So we better get busy
Okay,
now. and
see,
that's
this
why
guy
I'm saying,
actually has
get
a good
chief
point.
manufacturing
He's
officer,
right.
Align the environmental
supposed
incentives
to be listening.
with the financial incentives and make sure that people can actually make money off of the new technologies that are moving forward. And then here's what I'll
By
do as
2040,
president,
the
is
market
cut
will
the
already have
worker
caught up
in
to the
on
point that
deal. Make
electric
sure these are
will make
union
money.
jobs, and I will double union membership to
Yeah,
make
that's
sure
a
that these
problem.
new jobs
That's a
pay
fucking
what the
problem.
old fossil fuel jobs pay.
Senator Sanders, your response.
He wants to leverage
On this
unions to
issue,
kill fossil
My
fuels.
friends, there is no choice.
That is
We have got
horrible.
to be
I take back all of my
super
praise.
if we love our children
It's hard to.
and if we want
that's
to
a,
leave
that's a
them
weird
a
line to
planet
walk.
that is healthy and is habitable. So I don't disagree with Tim. What that means is we got to
But
A,
he's really
take on
pandering
the
for that
fossil
union
fuel
vote.
industry.
That's funny because
B,
that's
it
where my
means we
money's
have
going.
to transform
I pay
our
every
energy
month
system
to
away
give
from
these people
fossil
money.
fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy, and a hell of a lot of good union jobs as we do that. We got to transform our transportation
Thank you, Senator.
system, and we have to lead the
Bernie,
world.
can you remember your children's names?
Governor Bullock, your response.
You know,
Wrote the damn bill.
all of us agree that we have to address climate change.
This
No
is the
one
first time
on the
this guy's been-
stage is talking about that.
Yeah.
The Republicans
No, he
won't even
talked earlier,
acknowledge that
remember, I was
climate
making fun of
change
him.
is real,
Like a
Dana.
very
And that's because of the
scripted
corrupting influence
intro.
of money.
Okay.
That has been the fight of my career. And second of which,
But
as
now I'm
we
just thinking that's the way he
transition to this
talks.
clean energy economy, you gotta
Yeah,
recognize
clean
there are folks
energy
who have
economy.
spent their whole life powering our country.
Hello.
And
Hi,
far
Cece.
too often, Democrats sound like they're part of the problem. We got to make sure to aid in those
Bernie does just
transitions
babble, and
as we
somehow
get
people think he's an
to a
amazing speaker.
carbon-neutral world, which I think we can
He
do
just
by
the
2050.
corporations with the oil, and then they take the supplements, and then they.
Oh, no, I think Democrats
Am I allowed to say
often
that?
when they're saying, oh, these fossil
Little
fuel
Debbie?
industries, these workers,
Little
those coal
Debbie.
miner workers. Look,
Hi.
the world's changing. We
Little
got to
Debbie.
make it change. But I think Democrats often sound like the people that, as Congressman Ryan would
Where's
say,
the second
shower
hand?
at
That's
the
when
end
he
of
gets
the
to
day.
talk.
That they're part
It
of
makes
the
me think of
problem.
Jack Black.
And
His
far too
finger
many communities
pointing.
are being left behind as we
Got some
make
taters
this
for
transition.
ya.
Look, we're having this
You know?
discussion, and we can talk about competing
Thank you,
plans.
Governor. I want to give Senator Sanders a chance to respond.
Look, Steve, there ain't nobody
Ooh,
in
Steve.
Congress who's more strongly pro-worker than I am. So when I talk about taking on the fossil fuel
Look how
industry,
serious he
what I
is.
am also talking about is a just
Steve,
transition.
I'm the most
All right?
pro-worker
We
person
can
here.
create, and what the
Okay,
Green New Deal is about, it's a bold
I'll tell
idea.
Mom if you don't
We
stop
can
lying
create
about me.
millions of good-paying jobs. We can rebuild communities in rural America that have been devastated. So we are not anti-worker. We are going to provide, make sure that
This
those
guy's
This
workers
water,
have
by
a
the way,
transition,
it's like
new
bigger in my
jobs,
head.
Thank you,
healthcare, and
Senator.
education.
And look,
Governor Bullock, your response.
and look,
It's a big
Bernie,
water.
Yeah,
I was a union
Big
side
guy.
labor lawyer.
Water
I
too.
fought day after day. And I know, but we set this up as a false choice far too often. Are we going to actually address
Oh, he was a
climate
union
change?
labor
Our
lawyer.
seasons are
What?
80 days longer
What, do
than
they
the
all
moon.
just work for the
Or
unions?
are we going to give people
I love
a
that
better
meme.
shot at a better
Order of
life?
operations there.
You can do both, but let's actually have the
Nope.
scientists drive this. Let's not just talk about plans that are written for press releases that will go nowhere else if we can't even get a Republican to
Thank you,
acknowledge that the
Governor.
climate's changing.
Give him an
Congressman
oof.
O'Rourke.
No,
Your
Listen to the
response.
scientists
Unacceptable.
on this. And
I told
they're
you,
very
man,
clear. We don't have more.
they're going
than
after those front
10
runners
years
hard.
to get this right, and we won't meet that challenge
He
with
needs to
half
go after him in
steps or half
Spanish.
measures.
I'm waiting.
Only half the country.
Waiting.
We've got to bring
he ain't gonna
everyone
do
in.
it
The
'cause we
people of
want him to.
Detroit
Espanol,
and those
yeah.
I listened to in Flint last week, they want the challenge. They want those jobs. They want to create the future for this country and the world. Those community college students that I met in Tucumcari, New Mexico.
They're talking about Flint,
understand
which was a
wind and
botched
solar
government
jobs are
operation.
The fastest growing jobs
Like
in the
that's-
country.
like
And those
that's the
farmers in
private
Iowa
market's
say,
fault at
"Pay
all."
me for the environmental services for planting cover crops and keeping more land
crying.
in
He's learning from the best.
conservation
He's like, I gotta
easements.
flail this
That's how
finger
we meet the
and get
challenge.
angry.
We do it with everyone in this country.
These are the
We
same
bring
people who are
everyone
against
into
GMOs,
the
which are
Thank
the
you,
only
Congressman
way
Whitaker.
that we can make
Your
crops
We
that
have
are
all put out
environmentally
highly
efficient enough to
similar
sustain a
videos online.
population like we
It
have.
is all theoretical.
Oh.
We
All right,
will
Morty.
Oh, we got a
deal
brap.
with climate if and only if
Elijah
we win
Boyd
the presidency.
is
If
here.
and only if we beat Donald Trump. Nominate me, and you get to see the President of the United
Bill
States
Nye
stand next to an American war veteran and explain why he chose to pretend to be disabled when it was his chance to serve.
This is completely
Nominate me,
dodging
and we
the
will
question,
have a different
dude. Like,
conversation with American voters.
I get it, like,
about
this is
why
what's
the
gonna appeal
President
with the
of United
crowd,
States thinks you're a sucker.
people with brain
When
cells
the
don't like
problem in
this.
your life is your paycheck is
poor
not
little
going up
toddler-headed
nearly
guy.
as fast as the cost of housing or the cost
Morty.
of education or the cost of prescription drugs,
Rick.
and he has done nothing about it except
Thank
for
you,
tax
Rick.
cuts
Quick
for
adventure,
corporations.
Senator Klobuchar, I want to ask you about something that CNN heard from a Michigan Democratic
It's
primary
fine. It's Lord of
voter
the Flies
reaching out and
upstairs
getting
right
their
now.
questions. Kimber
fine.
from Birmingham,
They're
Michigan,
good.
has
They're
this
good.
question. What is your plan to address infrastructure, including the water issue, so another Flint, Michigan does not happen again?
Thank you, Dana. And I was just in Flint, and they are still drinking bottled water in that town, and that is outrageous. So my plan, and I'm
Jane's
the first
not
one
getting paid.
that came out with an infrastructure plan, and I
She's a-
did that
she's a
because
camera
this is
hog.
a bread and butter issue. It's a bread and butter issue for people that are caught in traffic jams. I think the governor here in Michigan smartly ran on the slogan, "Fix the damn roads." And it is an issue for union jobs. And so
fix the
I think
damn
what we need
roads.
to do is not have a president that's promised he was going to do that on election night, if anyone remembers,
not
and then
getting
he
paid.
hasn't followed through. He has
She's
done
not
nothing.
getting
He
paid.
blew up a meeting at the White
least
House.
she's getting a
I
discounted
would
rate.
put $1 trillion
I'm gonna
into
I'm gonna
this,
sync up
and I
our
would
streams
pay
real
for
quick,
it
just for the
by,
sake
first of all,
making it
change-
easier to communicate.
changing
That
the
should be
capital
good.
gains
All right.
rate by doing
There's
something
only
when
just
it
a
comes to
few-
that
just a bit
regressive
behind.
tax bill that left everyone behind, but really made his Mar-a-Lago friends richer, as he promised. And I would take that money and put it into rural broadband and green infrastructure, so you won't have what you just saw in Detroit with the Jefferson Chalmers neighborhood, the African neighborhood that was African-American neighborhood that was
African
most hit,
neighborhood.
when you had those
That was a
recent
slip
storms.
up.
And I truly believe
That was a
that if you're
hard
gonna move on
slip up.
infrastructure and climate change, you need a
worry about
voice for the
American
heartland.
neighborhoods first.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Ms. Williamson, what's your response on the Flint water crisis?
My response on the Flint water crisis
Not
is
even
that
the African
Flint is
American.
the
She
tip
just
of
went
the
straight to the
iceberg.
African.
I was recently in
African
Denmark, South
neighborhood.
Carolina, where it is.
Holy
There is a lot of
shit.
talk
You got
about
little
it being
Italy.
the next Flint.
talking about little
we have
Africa.
an administration that has gutted the Clean Water Act. We have communities, particularly communities of color and disadvantaged communities all over this country, who are suffering from environmental injustice. I assure you, I lived in Grosse Pointe. What happened in Flint would not have happened in Grosse Pointe. This is part of the dark underbelly of American society. The racism, the bigotry,
I hate when I
and
can
the
see
entire
stalls
conversation that we're
faces.
having here tonight, if you think any of this wonkiness is going to deal with this dark psychic force of the
Freaks me out.
collectivized hatred that this president is bringing up in this country, then I'm afraid
Dark
that the
psychic
Democrats are going to
force.
see some very dark days. We need to say it
Very
like it is.
strong
It's bigger
features,
than
though.
Flint. It's all over this country. It's particularly people of color. It's particularly people who do not have the money to fight back. And if the Democrats
she's
don't
rolling
start
now.
saying it, then why would those people feel that they're there for us? And if those people don't feel it, they won't
Oh,
vote for
she's
us,
in the
and
fucking
Donald
groove.
Trump will win.
Thank you very much, Ms. Williams.
Finish him.
We want
Right.
to turn now to the issue of race in America. Congressman O'Rourke, President Trump is pursuing a re-election strategy based in part on racial division. How do you convince
Is that
primary
better, Aaron?
voters that you'd be the best nominee to take on President Trump and
we're
heal
doing?
the racial divide in America?
Oh,
Okay.
We'll call his
we're
racism
Okay.
passaging now.
what
Okay.
it is, and also talk about its
Yeah,
consequences.
I'm
right?
driving this
It
bus,
doesn't
okay,
just
Mary?
offend
I need
our
you to pump
Be
the
the
brakes.
driver.
and say,
All right.
send her back.
But if you need me
about
to alter my
a
audio
member
coming out, I can
of
always
Congress because she's a woman of color, because
Okay,
she's
yeah, see,
a
that fixed it
Muslim
right there.
American.
That's all I
Doesn't
needed to
just
do.
offend our
Cool.
sensibilities when he calls Mexican immigrants rapists and criminals, or seeks
Oh,
to
here
ban
comes
all Muslims from the
Spanish.
shores of a country
Huh?
that's comprised of
Spanish
people from
coming.
the world over, from every tradition of faith. It is also changing.
He didn't
this
ban all
country.
Muslims. That's a
Hate
lie.
crimes are on the rise.
They were Muslim
Every
majority
single
countries,
one
yes,
of the
but he
last
did not
3
ban
years.
all
On the day that he
Muslims.
signed
No
his
one's
executive
allowed in the
order
U.S.
Attempting to ban Muslim travel.
Ask Davey,
The
honey.
mosque in Victoria, Texas, was burned to the ground. So we must not only stand up against Donald Trump
Tell
and
him to
defeat
look for
him
it if he wants
in
to
this
get
next election,
paid.
but we must also ensure that we don't just tolerate or respect our differences, but we embrace them. That's what we've learned in El Paso,
gonna be
Texas,
shocked
my
every time
hometown,
James comes
one of
down
the
here.
safest cities in the United States of America, not despite, but because it's a city of immigrants and asylum seekers and refugees. We will show that our
Thank you.
diversity is our strength.
Yeah, I hate
Congressman
Regal's
O'Rourke, thank
cadence
you very much.
too.
Governor
He talks
Hickenlooper,
with this weird
why are you the
pace
best
to it,
nominee to heal
where he
the
kind
racial
of
divide in America?
just
Please
falls
respond.
into all
Well,
of
the
his
core
words,
value
and I hate it.
behind this entire country's
that Obama
history
cadence.
is working towards a more perfect union, that all people are created equal, and we've fallen far away from that. I think
He
the
looks
job
like
is
he's
incumbent
high
on
and
any
and
one of
thinks
us
everyone in the
to
room
make
knows
the
it.
convincing case that we can deliver an urban agenda
I gotta play
that
this off.
represents progress in schools. In Colorado, when I was mayor, we got to universal pre-K for every kid in the urban city. We did major
Yeah,
police
slightly less
reform
grumpy Bill
10 years
O'Reilly. I like
before
that.
Ferguson. Why is it now, 5 years after Ferguson, we still don't have anything? How do we get affordable housing? We create a scholarship fund for every kid. You got to deliver a vision like that for the whole country.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Warren, I'm coming to
I'm
you
gonna
now.
say again, so YouTube
Last
wins.
week, the FBI Director
Wins.
Christopher
Yeah,
Wray said the
100%.
majority of domestic terrorism cases this year
Totally.
have been motivated by
Even
white
give me a copy
supremacy.
strike later
In
and we'll
fact,
talk
the
about it
alleged shooter
after
of
I
this
do my
weekend's attack
fucking
in
show.
Gilroy, California, referenced
After
a
my
well-known
big
white
show.
supremacist on social
No, you
media.
can curse.
How
It's
are you
fine.
going to combat
I
the
curse on
rise
my
of white
episodes, so
supremacy?
it's whatever.
We need to call out white supremacy for what
David's
it is,
probably upstairs
domestic
watching the stream.
terrorism, and it poses a threat to the United States of America.
Oh,
We live in a
Paris.
country now where
I
the
can-
president
Terror.
is advancing
I can understand
environmental
that
racism,
argument, actually.
economic
White
racism,
supremacy in a lot of
criminal
cases
justice
can be
racism, healthcare racism,
Oh. Yeah, it is a problem.
It is a huge problem.
Oh, yeah.
That you could. It is definitely a like people who are legitimate white supremacists and like damage buildings and hurt people. That is political terrorism. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So.
I hate to agree with the left a little bit there that they are kind of emboldened.
Universal tuition-free college
Yeah, I mean,
for
just-
all of our kids.
They are.
But
I
also
mean,
increase
that's
Where they're just like, no, I'm just a Trump supporter. We need to separate by race.
Oh, that's terrible.
I mean, yeah.
Colleges and universities.
That's terrible.
People who are white supremacists? You mean all straight white males? See, that's the problem.
And helps
That's the problem.
close the black-white wealth gap in America.
Thank you, Senator, very much. Mayor Buttigieg, you have been criticized for your handling of racial issues in your home city of South Bend,
Oh,
from
this is
diversity
such
in
a
the police force to
played-out
housing
story.
policy. Given your
We've been doing
record,
this since
how
the
can you
last
convince
debate.
African Americans that you should be the Democratic nominee?
Are you his
As an
internal
urban
dialogue
mayor
right now?
serving a diverse community, the racial divide lives within me. I'm
They
not
had
saying
one
that I became
shooting,
mayor
which
and
happens
racism
everywhere, and they're like,
or
it's all
crime or
Pete's
poverty
fault.
ended on my
It's all
watch.
Pete's fault.
But in our city,
Pete,
we have
explain
come together
yourself.
repeatedly to tackle challenges like the fact
Why did a
that
cop
far too
shoot
many
somebody?
people are
Oh,
not
well,
getting
maybe
the help
because
they
he's a
needed in their
fucking
housing,
cop
so
and
we
he does
directed
that,
it
but
to a
I don't know, it's
historically
just me, you know?
underinvested African
Feared
American.
for his safety.
Right now, in the wake of a police-involved shooting, our community is moving from hurting to healing.
They haven't
by
talked
making
once
sure that
about the
community can
garlic
participate
festival
in
shooting that just
things like
happened.
revising
Oh, yeah.
the use of force
Interesting.
policy and making sure there are community
That is
voices on the board of
Like, I
safety
missed
that
that one
handles police
'cause-
matters. I proposed a Douglas
Aaron
plan
says he
to
doesn't see a
tackle this
rise
issue
in white
nationally
supremacy.
because mayors have hit the limits of what you can do unless there is
So I used to
national
live pretty
action.
close to an area
Systemic
called Santa
racism
Fe.
has
They had
touched
like a lot of
every part
KKK members in it.
American
It was kind of
from
known for
housing
that.
to health to home
And
ownership. If you walk into an emergency
there-
room and you are black, your
people are
reports of pain
emboldened.
will
I
be
like the way
taken
David
less
says it.
seriously.
There are
If
people
you
who are
apply for a
emboldened.
job and you are black,
They're
you
a
are
lot
less
more
likely
vocal
to be
than they used to
called
be,
just
which
because of the
I don't
name
think should be.
on the resume.
Like they can
It's
do what
why
they
I
want,
propose
yeah,
that we
but
do
doesn't
everything from
mean I have
investing
to
in
listen to
historically
them.
redlined neighborhoods
So it's
to
not
build
that.
black wealth in home ownership
you, Mayor.
anything.
to supporting entrepreneurs.
There is a rise in hate.
Thank you very
versus-
much. Senator
It-
Klobuchar,
Just like every time something
Aaron,
bad
what
happens
do
to
you
a
say
major
to those
politician,
Trump
there's a
voters who
shooting.
prioritize the economy
I'm not a conspiracy theorist,
over the
so.
president's bigotry?
Well, first of all, there are people that voted for Donald Trump before that aren't racist. They just wanted a better shake in the economy. And so I would appeal to them.
Whoa.
But I don't
That's a
think
bold
anyone
statement.
can
That's like a
justify what this
fair,
president is doing.
accurate
Little kids
assessment.
literally woke up this weekend,
That's not-
turned on the TV, and saw
look-
their president calling their city, the town of Baltimore, nothing more than a home for rats. And I can tell you, as your president, that will stop. The second thing I would say is that economic opportunity means economic opportunity.
Yeah,
for
Aaron, I'm not
everyone
trying to
in
say
this
that like
country.
KKK
I know
numbers are
that
multiplying
because I
or
have lived
anything,
it.
but
And that
I
means
think
when we
emboldened
put out
or
there
feeling
better childcare
Yeah.
and better
vocal and
education,
empowered,
and we pay
like, yeah.
teachers more, and we make sure there's a decent retirement system.
No,
in
I'm going to be
place.
honest. Like
Yes,
what she
we
said
help
was
the
a fair
African-American
assessment. Some
community, and we
people
must,
voted
because
for
they have
Trump
been
who
the ones
weren't
that have been
racist.
most
Like,
hurt
plenty
by
of people
what we've
did.
seen
Like,
in the
that's-
last decade.
yeah,
But
that's-
we help
I
everyone. So what
appreciate
say to
that
the
kind of
people in my
conversation more
rural
than
parts of my
what
state,
like
just
Hillary
like
was
I say
doing.
to
Like
them
the
in the
degenerates
city
of
and bring them
society will
together,
vote for Trump.
is that
right.
Economic
That's not true.
opportunity must
I mean,
be there
voting for
for
either of them
everyone.
is
Thank
garbage,
you very
but
much.
you know, I mean,
Congressman O'Rourke, please respond.
you're not a racist.
I
That's
want
a
to
lie.
acknowledge something that we're all touching on, which is the very foundation of this country. The wealth that we have built, the way we became the
Oh,
greatest
man.
country on the face
feel
of
like
the
he's
planet
glitching out.
was literally on the backs of those who were kidnapped and brought here by force. The legacy of slavery and segregation and Jim Crow and suppression is alive and well in every aspect of the economy and in the country. Today, as president, I will sign into law a new Voting Rights Act. I will focus on education,
Oh, he
address
looks like-
healthcare disparities, but I will
He
also
has to
sign
pee.
into law Sheila Jackson
Really
Lee's
bad.
reparations bill so that we can have the
Like I was
national
saying.
conversation.
Reparations.
Talking really
Look,
fast.
I said it. I
Thank
said
you,
it,
Congressman O'Rourke.
guys.
Speaking of reparations,
If we pass reparations,
many
I'm
of your
moving,
opponents
and I'm
supported
probably going to
commissions
revoke
study
my
the issue of
citizenship too.
reparations for slavery.
Hold me to it.
But you are
Someone
calling
hold
for
me
up
to it. I
$500
will.
billion in financial assistance. What makes you qualified to determine how much is owed in reparations?
Well, first of all, it's not $500 billion in financial assistance. It's $500 billion, $200 to $500 billion payment of a debt that is owed. That is what reparations is.
Oh.
We need some deep truth-telling when it
Oh.
comes. We don't need another commission to look at evidence. I appreciate what Congressman O'Rourke has said. It is time for us to simply realize that this country will not heal All that a country is a collection of people. People heal when there's some deep truth-telling. We need to recognize that when it comes to the economic gap between blacks and whites in America, it does come from a great injustice that has never been dealt with. That great injustice has had to do with the fact
I
that there
hate to
was
say it, but like
250
there
years
is
of
truth
slavery,
to that
followed by
statement.
another 100
But that's not my
years of
fucking
domestic
problem.
terrorism.
Sorry.
What
You
makes
know?
me qualified
I hate to be
to
that
say
guy.
200 to 500
But I
billion
didn't do
dollars?
that,
I'll say what
you
makes me
know.
qualified.
I know,
If
I
you do
know.
the math
I
of
know.
the 40 acres and a mule, given that there was
Sorry,
4 or 5
like
million
I know
slaves
that
at
makes
the
me
end
sound
of
like a dick, but
the
that's the
Civil
truth.
War,
I'm not gonna pay for something. That's like saying, oh, you're the same race as the guy who ran over my fence. Now you have to pay for it. That's not how this
and I believe
works.
that anything less than $100 billion is an insult, and I believe that 200 to 500 billion is
I'm
politically
sorry for what
feasible today
happened
because
then.
so many Americans
But it
realize
wasn't me,
there is an injustice
right?
that
I mean,
continues to form a
just got here.
toxicity underneath the surface, an emotional turbulence that
Where are you going to get
separates-
$500 billion?
Phew.
Senator Sanders, you don't think cash payments are the best way to address this issue, but according to a new Gallup poll,
They're coming right at him.
73% of African Americans are in favor
Right.
of cash payments to black Americans who are descendants of slaves.
Of course, they're
How do you
favored
respond
to
that?
that.
Well, I respond to that.
I'm sorry, like
I am supportive.
if someone
of
came to
Jim
you and said like,
Clyburn's
"Hey, do you want cash or
legislation,
do you
which is
want
called
like
10,
some
20,
kind of
30.
weird benefit?"
And
What would you
that
say?
understands
Want
is
cash
that
money?
As a result of slavery,
Right.
and
Yeah, who the hell
segregation
turned down
and the
cash? Exactly.
institutional racism we see now in healthcare, in
Yeah, $500
education,
billion. All
in
the Cajuns got
financial
was an
services,
apology. Yeah.
We are going to have to focus big time on rebuilding distressed
You want
communities
to talk about
in
economically
America,
repressed
including
people? Let's talk
African
about Native Americans.
In terms of education,
Oh, no.
I also
Oh,
have a
man.
plan.
Almost done with them.
It's called
Yeah, where you at,
the Marshall
Pocahontas?
Plan.
All of a
And it would
sudden, you're
focus
not
on
one of them
ending
anymore?
The growth of segregated schools in America. It would triple funding for Title I schools. It would make sure that teachers in this country earned at least $60,000 a year.
Senator Sanders, thank
You know,
you
in
very
some
much.
states,
The
that's
debate
almost doubling
continues
their
right
pay.
after this short break.
Wow.
How many school districts going to pay?
Oh, it's a short break.
That was a long.
Yeah. Yes, there. That was.
Shit. Keep clicking on the wrong thing.
Thank you,
just
Christian,
gonna
for
mute
making
that.
this work. Because now we
Racking
can.
up the viewers, but our friends are here.
No, yeah, that's all I care about is just watching this
reason to watch this
together.
circus.
Yes, just watching it together.
Yeah, but we'll make sure to. I mean, I'm sure everybody here that's at my YouTube channel knows who you guys are, which is good. But you guys definitely bring in the live streamers. I think you know,
Yay.
some people honestly they just don't want to click on a YouTube link. It's easier just to have it. But you know what? We got to
It's
do
all
what we
good.
got to do. I mean, at some point, like,
do.
I'm officially making the swap. So, yeah.
Yes.
We gotta figure
Yeah,
out what we're
tonight
doing
was the
tomorrow.
night.
We'll talk about that, but
Yeah.
We're gonna do this way again tomorrow.
Yeah, we have
But
to
we'll
because
do better at promoting. We'll set up an event and stuff.
Yeah.
Get everybody.
big time. Everyone,
online,
make
so-
your YouTube account now
Yeah.
so that you can be a part of the stream tomorrow when we go on with
Depending
Christian.
which way we go, follow Christian's page. Follow
Yeah.
my YouTube page.
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure I can do links in the chat. Let me go to YouTube and link
Oh, yeah.
your.
You're right, Aaron. Zuckerberg has ruined his own platform.
Yeah,
And-
100%. Like that copyright policy is horseshit. And that's coming like YouTube. YouTube has a better copyright policy than fucking
the biggest
Facebook.
portion of bullshit.
How? How is like one of
Yeah,
the worst platforms at
bullshit.
copyright better
Yeah.
than fucking Facebook? Oh God, he sucked himself. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I'm still mad. I'm
No,
still
honestly,
mad.
I was thinking about it earlier today. Like just every day.
I like what you said,
scrolling
Quirt.
through Facebook and just like, oh, this glitch. Like you don't even notice them anymore. Just like, oh, okay, this.
Yeah, you're just like, oh,
that's
this is
screwed
how
up.
I have to do this now.
This is how this works.
This is how I do it
And it's like,
now.
it's such a big spider web of mess. It's like how I
It
couldn't
is,
even
it's terrible.
like say to them like, here's how you can fix it because
Mhm.
it's just such a mess.
Mhm.
And then they keep adding layers onto this mess, and it's just.
They're like, oh, we haven't fixed this part yet, but quick, we have to add this new feature.
Put us in your kitchen.
Yeah. What? It's gonna implode. Eventually, it is because it's just.
No, it's too much of a mess. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, it is. But it's gonna just be the the boomers.
Yeah.
They're just
capping
circle
away.
jerking.
Did you hear this could kill you?
And that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. And everyone else is gonna be somewhere else.
Ariane says it's probably because it's CNN. That doesn't mean that they can make a false copyright claim
Yeah, they
against
don't
someone's
have to
content.
adhere.
Yeah, they could say, well,
Well, I think like Facebook has been beaten so hard that they
just comply to
Zuckerberg had
everything.
to, like step in front of Congress, and it's like, yeah, whatever you guys say, yeah, we can make that happen. I can do that. We can
comply.
block that. We can ban them. Whatever you need to do.
What was that on what was that show with the kids that we watched with the two boys that would invent all the things, you know?
Phineas and Ferb.
Phineas and Ferb. Remember when they were in the other world and they were playing Monopoly and they were,
Comply?
I can do that, and everybody's wearing
I
like
think we're
gray,
back.
like
Let's turn now
do
to the
curls.
economy.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Congressman
Christian.
Ryan,
I didn't mean to
President
interrupt
Trump's
you there.
tariffs
you're
have
fine.
boosted the U.S. steel industry, but hurt auto.
Momentarily.
Okay. Just let me know when your video starts back up, and we'll sync up. We're not live anyways. We're a couple seconds behind, so.
All right, we're coming on. We see the people on the
Congressman
panel.
Ryan, President Trump's
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
tariffs
we're
boosted
pretty
the
much
U.S. steel
caught up.
industry,
Yeah, like-
but hurt auto
We are
manufacturers
synced
like
up.
those here in Michigan, which could drive up the cost of cars. As
Oh, yeah, we're
president,
like a
would you
second
continue
away.
President
Not
Trump's
even.
steel tariffs?
Look, I think President Trump was on to something when he talked about China. China has been abusing the economic
tariffs?
system for a long time.
Yeah,
they
he's-
steal intellectual property. They
How do you
subsidize
feel
goods
about that?
coming
Yeah,
into
with,
this
with
country.
I
They
mean, China has
displaced
a
steel workers,
communist
auto workers
kind of
across the
system
board,
where they
eroded
can
our
manipulate
manufacturing,
their
and we
markets.
basically transferred
They
our
just don't
wealth of
care
our middle
about
class
our
either up to the top
IPs. That's the
1%
biggest
or
thing
to
that we
China
really
for them
care
to build
about,
their
honestly,
military.
is
So
that
I
they
think we
steal
need
our tech
some
IPs,
targeted
but
response against
we
China. But
most
you know
of the
how you
time
beat China?
don't even
You
sell the
outcompete
majority
them.
of our
And that's
products
why I
to
put a
China
chief
when it
manufacturing
comes to like big
officer in
tech
place
stuff,
to make
because
sure that we
the
rebuild
Chinese
the
markets are so
manufacturing base. We've
entrenched
gotta fill
that
these
people won't
factories
buy
that
American.
in
And
Detroit,
also,
in
it's a
Youngstown that used
stigma to
make
buy
cars
American in
steel,
China.
we've gotta
So
fill
it's
up
almost
with
like
jobs
you're fighting a
for
losing
electric
battle.
Vehicles, batteries, charging stations, make sure they're making solar panels. As I said earlier, China dominates 60% of the solar panel market. They dominate 50 to 60% of the electric vehicle market. We're going to make 10 million electric vehicles somewhere in the world in the next 10 years.
IP
I
is
wanna
a trigger
make the
word. I
United
think IP is
States.
garbage,
That's why I have a
but
chief manufacturing
that's what
officer
we
that will
actually
sit in
care
the White
about.
House and help drive this agenda.
Thank you. Just as a point of clarification,
Why is there
as
resolution?
president, would you continue President Trump's steel tariffs? Yes or no?
Well, I would have to reevaluate. I think some of them are effective, but he's bungled the whole thing. Obviously, see, here's the problem with President
Some of them
Trump.
are effective.
He has a tactical move, one of many.
Have you stopped
He has
murdering
a
puppies yet?
tactical
Yes or
move.
no?
What's the grand strategy?
Well, see, it's a
for the United
tactical
States?
move,
China
you know?
has a 100-year plan, a 50-year plan, a 30-year plan, a 20-year plan. We live in a 24-hour news cycle. That spells disaster for our economy and disaster for our global politics.
Thank you,
But see,
Congressman.
what you don't
Congressman Delaney,
understand is
your
that government isn't the economy.
So
It
listen,
only
this
is when they
what I
put
don't
themselves
understand.
in the economy.
President Trump wants to build physical walls and beats up on
Okay.
immigrants. Most of the folks running for president
Did
want
you
to
want a
build
push pod?
economic walls for free trade
Or a nutty buddy?
and beat up on President Obama. I'm the only one running
Yeah,
for
Ariana has a
president
good point here.
who actually supports the Trans-Pacific Partnership. President Obama was
me.
right about that. We should be getting back in that. Senator Warren just issued a trade plan that would prevent the United States from trading with its allies. We can't go. We can't isolate ourselves from the world.
Yeah.
We have to engage.
Thank you.
Fair rules
Thank you,
based
Congressman Delaney.
Andy
Senator
says
Warren,
this
please
stream would make Bernie Sanders happy,
We have had a trade
redistributing a
policy
CNN feed.
that has
Yeah, we're
been
taking down the
written by giant
corporations.
multinational
It's not
corporations
redistribution,
to
it's
help
commentary,
giant
so it's our own
multinational
original content.
corporations. They have no loyalty
based
to
off of the
America.
content
They
of another
have no
person.
patriotism.
Celestial
If they can
Seasonings says the
save a
push pop.
nickel by moving a job to Mexico, they'll do it in a heartbeat.
You'll
If
see the
they can
1%
continue
of
a
the
polluting
10%.
plant by moving it to
Of the
Vietnam, they'll
60%
do it in a heartbeat.
Watching the stream right
I
now
have
wouldn't
put
be
out
watching
a
the
new
debates if they weren't
comprehensive
watching it with
plan
us.
that says we're not going to do it that way. We're going to negotiate our
nice.
deals with
I'm being
unions
serious.
at the table, with small businesses at the table,
I don't
with
watch this
small
shit alone.
farmers
No.
at the table,
It's just
with
depressing.
environmentalists at the table,
watching Foodie
with
Fight.
human rights activists at the table.
would be
And
depressing.
then we're going to
Who says
use
that
the
anymore?
fact that everybody
Depressing.
in the world
We should listen.
wants to get to America's markets. They want to
That
sell
was
to
the
you.
TPP.
I'll
Congressman
finish.
Delaney.
Is everyone wants to get to America's
Thank you, Senator.
markets? No. So the question
Senator,
is,
thank you.
how
Senator,
do
thank
we
you. Shut up.
raise
Delaney, it's
our
your turn. Thank you,
standards?
Senator.
Dude,
Congressman
Aaron,
Delaney.
I did a breath.
So That was the Trans-Pacific
Oh.
Partnership. I think President Obama was right. He did include environmental standards.
up,
He did
Senator.
include labor standards. We would
Just-
be in an
just
entirely
brap,
different
Dave.
position with China if we had entered the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We can't
brap.
isolate ourselves
It's
from
a
the
sensual
world.
brap.
We can't isolate ourselves from Asia.
Breathy brap.
Senator Warren's plan basically that she put out, we would
Love it.
not be able to
Oh.
trade with the United
Hey.
Kingdom. We would not be
Working.
able
Oh,
to
she
trade
just
with
like
the EU.
rolled up her
It is so
sleeves.
extreme
Oh,
that
she's-
it'll
look at those
isolate
pursed lips.
American
Thank you,
economy
Congressman.
from the rest of the world.
Senator,
Notice what
Senator Warren.
Congress-
Senator Warren.
Notice what the, I think
I
it
believe-
says-
Senator Sanders, please let Senator Warren
Yeah.
respond.
She just
Somebody about to catch these hands.
don't
What
know.
the congressman is describing as extreme is having deals that are negotiated by American workers for American workers. American workers want those jobs.
That's
and we can
fine.
build the
If
trade
they
deals
want
that
those
do it.
jobs, that's
People
fine. But
want
you don't.
access to
You
our
can't
markets all
always
around the
get
world.
what
Then
you
the
want.
answer is let's make them raise their standards. Make them pay their workers more. Let their
Hey,
workers
Martini's
unionize.
here.
Raise their environmental standards
Oh, good.
before they come to us and say
Oh,
they
David,
want to
okay.
be able to sell their products. Right now, the whole game is working
Come
for the
on,
big multinationals.
No, me too.
It's just not working
So
for
much.
the people here in the United States,
Senator,
and we can
thank you very
change
much.
that.
Congressman O'Rourke, your response.
You know, the question was about tariffs, and
Yeah, get used to
they're
the super
huge
low
for the
latency,
state.
Martini.
They constitute the largest tax increase on the American consumer, hitting the middle class and the working poor especially hard. And farmers
Don't
in
talk
Iowa
about
and across the
taxes,
country
you
are bearing
sleazeball.
the brunt of the consequences. When have we ever gone to war, including a trade war, without allies,
Pointing
and friends,
right at
and
him, you
partners?
Beto,
As president,
you
we will hold
sleazeball.
China accountable, but we will bring our allies and friends like the European Union to bear, and we'll also negotiate trade deals that favor farmers and American workers and protect human rights and the environment
Like everybody's
and
like
labor,
hailing
not
a
just
cab.
here in the United
Congressman
States.
O'Rourke.
but in
Thank you very much.
those
Senator
countries.
Sanders, please respond to Congressman O'Rourke.
Everybody.
Bernie's over here.
Hand up higher though. He gets the finger
Sorry,
up.
I didn't have my
who not
banana. The
only
jitters are
voted
getting me.
against these disastrous trade agreements, NAFTA, PNTR with China, which cost us over 4
Kristen's
million
more mad
jobs,
than Warren. I am mad.
but also helped lead the
freaking
effort
mad.
against
That's
these
what I am.
agreements. Now, Elizabeth is absolutely right. If anybody
I
here
get to listen to a
thinks
bunch
that
of
corporate
idiots, and I had to deal with
America
Facebook
gives one
today.
damn
I'm
about
mad.
the average American worker,
Hell yeah.
they're mistaken.
Angry.
If they
Angry.
can save 5 cents by going to China, Mexico,
Yeah,
Vietnam,
I'm an internet
any place
libertarian.
else,
I'm
that's
always
what they
mad.
would do. As president, let me tell you what I would do. These guys
I will
line up
fight
at the
everybody.
federal trial. They
Everybody.
want
You disagree
military
with me on one
contracts. They
point?
want all kinds
You
of
go to
contracts.
hell.
Yeah.
Now, under my administration,
hell and you
they're
die.
gonna
You
get
die.
those contracts.
You're gonna
and
wind up
throw
in
American
commie hell.
workers
Sanders,
out on the street.
thank you very much. Governor Hickenlooper,
just
your
called her.
response.
So I think, again, I think
wonder if she's
Congressman Delaney
mad.
has got a point here, and there is a way of looking at trade that is therapeutic.
We're gonna let somebody
Bottom
else
line
talk
is,
now?
you talk to any economist, there is not a single example in history where a trade war.
This guy gets
Where's-
like no time,
Trade
right?
wars are for
Where's
losers.
Healing
And the
Chakra
bottom
Lady
line is you
at?
got to recognize. Let's
I've seen her
negotiate
like
a trade
twice.
deal, but you're not going to win against China in a trade
Is that
war when
Barbara
they got
Hickenlooper.
25% of our total debt.
Oh,
And step
well,
back and
no,
look at
yeah,
this.
she-
Trump
she gets-
gives a giant tax cut,
Eh.
and at
Who's
the
Chakra
same
Lady?
time.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we're
she
paying
gets them
in
sometimes.
tariffs about
I got this shirt from the Liberty
$800 to
Memes shirt
$1,200
shop, by the
per
way.
household, and then we give
Yes,
this
Liberty
incredible tax cut to the
memes
rich.
represent.
Essentially, what's
I still
happening
need to
now
buy
is
my
we
David
transfer
pillow.
that
I keep
tax
forgetting.
obligation onto the middle class. That's what's outrageous. But tariffs are not the
Oh,
Governor, thank you.
don't make me take a
Anyone who
selfie with a
thinks
David
that
body
these trade
pillow.
deals are mostly about tariffs
Oh my
just
God.
don't understand
a
what's
7
going
foot
on. Look at the new NAFTA 2.0. What's the central feature? It's to help pharmaceutical companies get longer periods of exclusivity so they can charge Canadians,
Oh.
Americans, and Mexicans more money and make more profits.
That's a
what
fair
trade
criticism.
Deals have become. They have
fair
become
criticism.
a way for giant multinationals.
You're right.
to
The
change
trade
the
deal should say
regulatory environment
all trade
so they
in
can
and out
suck
of this
more
country is
profits
free.
out for themselves
That's what the trade
and
deal
to
should say.
leave the American people behind.
Really?
We have to
Get-
have the
get
courage
good.
to fight back against that.
Senator,
corruption.
thank you.
And
Governor
then
Bullock, your
watch as we
response.
economically crush
Now, Farmer
everyone
and Rippey
with our
said
mass
to me,
exports and
every time
imports. China's like,
tweets,
oh my
you
God,
lose
what?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. If Montana had to eat all the wheat that we produce, every Montanan would have to eat 40 loaves of bread a day.
People.
But by the
Hundreds of
same
thousands of
token,
people are
what we
lost every
have
time
is,
Trump tweets.
I actually agree with Senator Warren on this in part. Corporations can move capital easy.
Workers can't. So going forward, we need to make sure that our trade deals actually are thinking about the workers. They can't be the
Protecting
stepchild,
workers
but the
is
way to do it with as blunt
pointless in a
Who does he
service-based
remind me of?
the
economy.
president's doing, that's not how we
don't
get
know.
a fair deal for farmers anywhere or the manufacturers here in Detroit.
Do you hear that southern twang come through?
Yeah.
Totally
Stand by,
fine.
please, stand by, please.
Till you start
Stand by,
talking about
please.
them farmers,
Buttigieg.
and we gotta
On Thursday of
protect
this
them
week,
farmers.
the GM plant
Gosh
in
dang
Michigan
it.
will stop production. The latest
Protecting
of
our
parentheses
jobs.
operations in the industrial Midwest. This comes
Morty.
as part of the company's modernization plan, which
Oh,
will
Morty.
eventually result in 6,000 hourly workers losing
Greg
their
would not
jobs
want
or
to
being
see him this
reassigned
way.
to
Oh,
other
he's so
plants.
upset.
It's an alternate
What is your
universe.
plan for retraining workers
You
whose
guys keep
jobs
being
are
mean
at
to me.
risk?
I'm gonna go tell mom.
This happened in my community 20 years before I was
Mom said
born,
that
and
it was
when
my
I was
turn to play
growing
on
up,
the
we were
Xbox.
still picking up
Mom
schools,
said we need to find a
empty
game that's 3
empty
players.
poverty. I know exactly what happens to a community when these closures take
Oh,
place, and there
almost
will be
snorted.
more. It's why we actually need
When's
to
the last
put
time a
interest of
unionist ran for
workers first.
president?
Of
I haven't
course
heard
we
of
need to do
unions this
retraining.
much
We're
from
doing
one
it now
person in a
South
while.
Bend. We
They're
should
all
continue to
talking
do
about
it. This
unions,
is so
though.
much bigger than a trade
Well,
fight.
they're
This is
going
about
for
a
those-
moment
that-
when the
those
economy
dollars.
is changing before our
This
eyes.
stuff.
There are people
No.
in the economy who go through more
me
jobs in a week
No.
than my parents went through in their lifetime.
I love
It's why
it.
I've proposed that we allow gig workers to unionize because
I
a
got the
gig
ANCAP
is a
ball
job
'cause
and a worker
I
is
like
a
the
worker.
ANCAP.
And again.
Thank you, Mayor.
We have to respond.
Skyclaw
to
Demands
all of these
Promises
changes
was like
and,
would have been a perfect
you know,
shirt
in
to wear at the
addition to
beginning of this.
confronting tech, in addition to supporting workers
Well, you
by
get to pick
doubling
t-shirts. They just
unionization
gave us the
size
Liberty memes one.
Some of this is
Well, that's
low
'cause
tech,
we got
too.
in too
Like,
early.
The minimum wage is just too low. And so-called conservative
Garrett may
Christian
be higher
senators
tier too,
right now
you know,
in the
like-
Senate are blocking a bill to raise the minimum
What?
wage when Scripture says that whoever oppresses the poor.
Is that what he
Oh,
got?
he's quoting scripture.
Mayor, thank you very much.
See, they're trying to pull some
Congressman Delaney, I'm coming to
evangelicals
you now.
over. They're pushing
Your
hard with that
estimated net
Bible
worth
thumping
is
this
more
year
than
for Democrats.
$65 million.
I-
That would
no,
make
you
you subject
don't.
to
I have
Senator
to
Warren's
pee.
proposed wealth tax on the assets of the richest 75,000 homes, households.
No,
or
Beto
so
has
in
not
the
talked
United
in
States.
Spanish yet,
Do
Martin.
you think Senator Warren's wealth tax is a
I
fair
know,
way
I know, I'm
to
scared.
fund childcare and
I might pee in
education?
this thing tonight.
I think wealthy Americans have to pay more. Listen, I grew up in a blue-collar family.
Yeah, I don't think there's a break
First in my
coming
family
for
to go to
about
college, became a
10,
successful
15 minutes,
entrepreneur,
so.
created thousands of jobs, supported thousands
Oh,
of
I'm
looking
entrepreneurs
around.
all around
They
this
may do
country.
one more
No.
break
I've done well financially.
before
I think
the
I should pay
closing
more in tax.
because it's supposed
I
to
think wealthy
end in
Americans should pay
about
more in
30
tax.
minutes.
But we have to have a real solution. The real solution is to
It's all
raise the
good.
capital
Pay more
gains rate.
taxes. They let
There
you
is
do that.
no reason
Yeah.
Oh,
why
wow.
people who invest for a living should pay less than people who work for a living.
Oh, you want to steal
That's
from other
ridiculous. It's the biggest loophole in our tax
Be the
code.
example,
we act
bro.
like wealthy individuals are endangered species.
They
And if we
actually,
don't raise-
someone
if we don't
compiled
raise
their
taxes, they won't
donations to their
invest.
tax
That's
records,
crazy.
and they
That's
donate
how we get more revenue
nothing,
from wealthy individuals.
basically,
We
for
roll
all intents and
back the
purposes.
Trump
It's
tax
actually the
cuts for
poorer
wealthy
ones
individuals.
donate more
I think
than the
wealth
rich
tax
guys.
will be fought in court
Bernie was
forever.
one of the
It's
lowest
arguably
donators.
unconstitutional, and the countries that have had it have largely abandoned it because it's impossible to implement. But here again, real solutions, not impossible promises.
Thank you
Raise
very
the
much.
capital
Taxation
gains tax.
Zero
roll back
tax
the
for
taxes on
everybody?
wealthy Americans.
Thank
Like
you.
even the
That was
wealthy,
our first
everybody's
Senator
zero
Warren's president.
taxes?
Please respond.
So I have proposed a wealth tax. It's now time to do that. It's time to tax the top 0.1% of fortunes in this country. Your first $50 million you can keep free and clear, but your
No, you
$50
can't.
millionth and
No, you
first
can't. You
dollar,
can't keep it 'cause it
gotta
gets
pitch
taxed.
in 2
Right.
cents.
And it's every
2
10, so
cents.
David might just
What
be like,
can
Oh,
America
he's
do
clocked
with
out.
2 cents? We can provide universal child care for every baby in this country aged 0 to 5. We can provide universal a pre-K for every 3-year-old and 4-year-old. We can raise the wages of every child care worker and preschool teacher in this country. We can provide universal tuition-free college.
Where's my $20
We can
now? Where you at?
expand Pell. We can put $50
They're
billion
trying real hard to push that
into our
national
historic
15.
and Black colleges and universities, and we can cancel student loan debt for 95% of the people who have it and start to close the wealth gap in America. It tells you how badly broken this
Oh,
economy
okay.
is.
Pee, I
That
have to pee. I have to go
2 cents
watch
from
it.
the wealthiest in
Thank you,
this
Senator.
country would
Congressman.
let us invest in the rest of
please.
America.
Congressman, please
This is
respond.
not about whether wealthy. This is not about whether wealthy Americans should pay more. I think we're all in agreement on that.
What's that?
It's a question of, do you have a real
2
solution
cents?
to make it
Yeah.
happen? We can raise the capital gains rate to match the ordinary income. You know, the last president to do that was actually Ronald Reagan. We can do that in our first year. I've called for
She's
that
so
to be done,
mad.
and it'll
Who's
double
mad?
the earned income tax credit. I've called for the expansion of universal pre-K so that every American has pre-K, and I do it through an additional tax on high net worth individuals. But we don't need to come up with new taxes that are arguably unconstitutional.
Thank you, Congressman Delaney.
Will be fought in court for years.
I want to turn to the issue of student debt. I'm going to turn to the issue of student debt now, Mayor Buttigieg. You've talked about how you and your husband are paying down 6 figures of student loan debt. Under Senator Sanders' proposal to cancel all student loan debt, yours would immediately be wiped away. Why wouldn't you support that?
That'd be great for us. And then the next day, there would be a student loan program, and people would be out taking student loans, wondering why they weren't lucky enough in timing to get theirs wiped away completely too. We can have debt-free college for low and middle-income students by expanding Pell Grants
Look
and
at him,
compelling
just
states
shaking
to pick
his
up more
head.
of the burden. And on the back end, for those of us who do have a lot of debt, we can make it more affordable, and we can expand a public
Got the Bernie
service loan
face.
forgiveness program.
He
which
really
is an
curled up.
excellent program
Ooh,
that is
look at
almost
him.
impossible to actually get access to right now.
Angry
We can take
Bernie.
these steps
You don't
and
want to
have
piss off
an
Grandpa.
approach that is actually
Angry
fair. If
Grandpa.
we want to start wiping away
This
student
debate
debt,
is
here's where I
unconstitutional.
would start.
Basically, the whole thing
I would
is.
start with the for-profit
I'm trying to be
colleges
fair,
that
and when
took
they say
advantage
something
of people,
somewhat
especially veterans.
right, I
The
try
moment
to say,
redeployed,
okay, that was
my
fair.
Facebook ad
But most
feed
of it's
started
garbage.
filling with ads from these for-profit colleges. Under President Obama, they were held accountable
No,
for whether they
REN, I mean,
delivered
it's
results.
true. Like,
President Obama,
there are winners and
President
losers in this
Trump,
game
under
of
a Secretary
paying
of
off
Education,
college debt. It really
who,
is.
regrettably is from this state, did away with those rules. There's no accountability. On my watch, those colleges that turned the Department of Education into a predatory lender, that's where we would begin when it came to getting rid of
that's fair.
loans.
Thank you, Mayor.
That's a
Buttigieg,
fair
Senator
assessment.
Sanders,
What's
you
up?
want to forgive all student
We got
loan
D3
debt?
here.
Your
Matter of
response.
fact, I do. But before I get into that, the major issue that we don't talk about in Congress, you don't talk about in the media, is the massive level of income and wealth inequality in America.
See, this is
You
not.
got
This
three
is.
people who own
This
more
is a
wealth than the
deflection
bottom
of the issue of
90%.
education. He always
top
does this.
1%.
If people weren't poor, it wouldn't matter if colleges, blah blah blah. Like, sure, if we were all millionaires, everybody could pay $50,000 for college. But then college would be millions of dollars.
Pay 1 nickel in federal income tax, and we've got 500,000 people sleeping out on the street.
Yeah.
What we need is a political revolution that tells these billionaires and corporate America that they are Americans, they'll participate in our society, but they have got to start paying their
Chat
fair
scrolling
share
did
of
freeze.
taxes. Period.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. Ms. Williamson, you are proposing
Why did
to
chat
make college
freeze?
free for all qualified
It's a fair
students.
share.
Should the government pay for children from wealthier families to go to college?
I think that all domestic and international policy should be based on the idea that anything we do to help people thrive is a stimulation to our economy. That's how you stimulate your economy. So if a few people take advantage, but there are 4 or 5 people who are going to take the money that they then have in the bank. When you look at this $1.5 trillion college debt, this is why I agree with Bernie, or I would be even, okay, why don't we swap it? We had a $2 trillion
We're just gonna
tax
reset the
cut
chat real
where
quick.
83 cents of every dollar goes to the very, very richest among us. That does not
That's because they
stimulate
pay
the
more in
economy.
taxes.
If we
This
get
isn't
rid of
rocket
this college
science.
debt, think of all the young people who will have the discretionary
Of course
spending,
they
they'll
get
be able
more
to
money
start
back.
their
They paid
business.
more in
The best thing
taxes.
you could do to stimulate the U.S. economy
I don't understand
is
what's
to
so
get rid of
difficult
this
about this to
debt.
understand.
This is not
It's
just
not
about a
difficult to
plan do it,
understand.
it's about
The
a
story's just being
philosophy of
manipulated.
governing. And I've heard some people here tonight, I almost wonder why you're Democrats. You seem to think there's something wrong about using the instruments of government to help people. That is what government should
Wow.
do. All policies should help people thrive. That is how we will have peace.
Are you
and that
even
is how we
real
will have
Democrat?
Thank you, Ms. Williamson.
Wait, are they going
Congressman
full
O'Rourke, you don't
libertarian?
support free
Are you
four-year
even a
college.
real
Your response
Democrat?
to Ms. Williamson.
I support
the only
free
real
two-year
Democrat
college,
here.
earn that associate's degree,
Wow.
realize your full potential, debt-free 4-year college. But unlike some of the other candidates on the stage, that's not just for tuition. That is room and books and
Sounds
board,
high
the full
quality
cost
right
of
there.
being able to better yourself
just
so that
the
you can
TV
better
or-
this country. And then for that school teacher, who in many places like Texas
What's
is
up?
working a second or a third job,
The stream is
full
kinda low.
forgiveness for her outstanding student
Low
loan debt,
pixels.
forgiveness for that
Oh,
person
the
willing to
YouTube
work
one?
at the VA and serve our
Wait, are
former
you on
service
YouTube?
members. And we do not do that at the expense of unions. We elevate them as well and make it easier to join
Okay.
an apprenticeship to learn a
Well, now I
skill
don't need to
or a
sit on
trade
the
that you can
stairs
command
anymore.
for the rest of your life.
Thank you. Thank you, Congressman. Senator
I'm-
Klobuchar, your response.
I believe I'm outputting my
I wanna make it
stream in
easier for kids to
720p,
go to
so that's
college.
probably
And I
got
think
something
we
to
do
do
it
with
by
it.
focusing our resources
Yeah.
on the
So
people
it's not
that need
1080.
it most. And my problem with some of these plans is
I
they
could probably do
literally
1080
would
actually.
pay
I just
for
have to change
wealthy
it in the
kids,
settings.
for Wall Street kids to go to college. There's
right,
no
bud.
difference. It says everyone is free. I don't think that makes sense. And I'm very concerned if we do things like that, the debt we're going to pass on to the next generation and the next generation. So what I would do about student loan debt is that I would
I'm right here,
allow
guys.
people to
Christians
refinance
against the
it at
poor.
a better rate,
Quote me.
and I would make
I
sure
hate the
that
poor
we
people.
improve those
That's what I said.
student loan repayment programs for our teachers and
doesn't hate the
expand them
poors?
so that you literally over
That's why I'm in the
5-10
Patreon
years
members,
can
'cause
get it
I
paid
hate poor
for
people.
if you go into occupations where we don't have enough workers.
Looks fine on my
I think we
42-inch
need to
TV.
mesh what
Yeah.
we were just talking about with the
Tomorrow
economy
we'll try
with our
1080p. We'll see how that
education
goes.
policy.
Thank you, Senator.
We're
I
doing
wanna turn to
fantastic
foreign
right now,
policy
like
now.
0 drop
Senator
frames.
Sanders, President Trump has argued that
We've
the United
transmitted
States
a
cannot
gig
continue
of
to
video
be,
data
quote,
over this
policeman
stream.
of the
Not
world.
worried about it.
You said the exact same thing on a debate stage in 2016.
being poor.
If voters are hearing the same message from you and President Trump on the issue of military intervention, how should they expect that you will be any different from him?
Trump is a pathological
Drink some water.
liar. I tell the truth.
From my
Okay, well, I was like, all right, Trump's a pathological liar. I can get behind that. I told the truth. Okay.
18 years in Iraq, 16 or 17 years. We have spent $5 trillion on the war,
Been
on
in
terror, and
Afghanistan.
there are probably more terrorists out there now.
Well,
than
if you count
before.
the CIA,
If
we've
again,
been in the
we're gonna
Afghanistan for
spend the
60
Congress
years.
passed,
So
and I will not
60.
vote for a $715
Yeah, since the Cold War.
billion military budget, more than the 10 next countries combined.
Andy, get out
What
of here.
we
No, I'm just
need
playing.
is a
You can
foreign
stay. I love you.
policy that focuses on diplomacy, ending conflicts by people sitting at a table.
I've heard
not by
someone
killing
recite
each
the
other.
Necronomicon, and
As
this
President
debate
of the
seems more
United
evil than
States,
that.
I will
That's
go
pretty
to the
intense.
United Nations,
Are the
not
poors-
denigrate it, not attack the UN, but bring countries together in the Middle East and all over the world to come to terms with their differences and solve those problems peacefully. The United
Thank you,
States
Senator.
cannot be the policeman of the world.
Thank you, Senator.
I agree with
Governor
that.
Hickenlooper,
I
how
agree
do
with
you
that.
respond to Senator Sanders' vision for America's role in the world?
Well, we share the recognition of the incredible cost. People don't realize
Back
that
again.
half the soldiers that fought in Iraq and Afghanistan were National Guard.
What?
And so I went and sent them off on their deployments. Big, noisy hangars.
come on.
But I also mourned with their families when they didn't come back.
Big,
Should the
noisy
US
We are able
hangars.
business
now
world. This
to,
question
I call
is
it
so
constant
dumb.
engagement,
Fuck
but
no,
we should
we shouldn't
have
be.
an international diplomatic approach where we're talking to everybody. Because if we're going to deal with climate change and cybersecurity and nuclear proliferation, we got to be talking to everybody. And tariff wars don't
Thank you,
work.
Governor.
They're for losers.
Thank you, Governor. I want to go to Congressman Ryan, and I want to turn to the subject of North Korea, which
Oh, they
just
gave him like
hours
5
ago,
seconds.
launched 2 short-range
He's
ballistic
lucky.
missiles for the second time
This-
in less
yeah,
than a week.
this just
Congressman,
happened.
You said that you
North
would
Korea just
not
popped off
meet
2
with
missiles.
North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un
Shut the
unless you
fuck
were
up,
at least
Christian. Are you
close
nervous?
to a deal.
No.
Now, Senator
They don't
Klobuchar
have the
says that
balls.
she would, quote, always be willing to
It's
meet
just
with
a show of
leaders to
force.
discuss policy.
It's just like every time
Is
we
that
fly on their
wrong?
border,
Yeah,
they
I
just
think
don't
so.
have planes
I
to
love
fly
Amy
on the
Klobuchar,
border,
but I
so
think
instead
she's
they
wrong
shoot
on
off
this
a
one.
couple
I don't
rockets.
think presidents of the United
everybody goes,
States
"Woo!"
meet with dictators.
That's exactly what
We
they
saw
want.
happened with President Trump.
Wow.
He goes to the demilitarized zone
Yeah.
with the leader of North
Nobody
Korea,
gives a
gives him a
shit.
huge photo op, gives him
But they
global
care.
credibility because the most powerful
Yeah,
person
everybody
in
gets
the
really
world is
mad,
sitting
and that's
there
what North
meeting
Korea
with them.
wants.
And
They're like a
weeks
giant
later,
troll,
he's
and they just hit
lobbing,
the troll button.
More missiles.
Like,
That
hey, let's
doesn't make any sense.
throw these pieces
We've
of
got
metal
to
in the water and watch everybody get
demilitarize
mad.
They
our
are.
foreign policy.
Nobody's paying
We've got to
attention
make
to
sure
us.
that
A
we are
giant
engaging
troll.
these countries all the time.
I mean, it's a
This
small
is
country.
very
They're
difficult
a
work. I've been
small
in Congress
troll, but
17
you know,
years.
they
I
have a
sit
big
on the
impact.
Defense Appropriations Committee. I sat on
Right.
the Armed Services Committee. This is long,
I'm only here to
tedious
say
work.
fuck
Much
you,
of it's
the
done
entire
outside
system
of the
entirely.
eye of the TV camera.
Agreed.
And as president, you've got to monitor that and be very disciplined every day. Don't go give a dictator a huge win.
love
Sit
that.
down and do your job. And the same thing
Whoa, I'm holding a
with what's
big-
happening in Central America.
Yeah, thank you for
Like
coming,
ball.
Representative Tim Ryan. That was your 15
Nicaragua,
seconds of fame.
Guatemala, El
Yeah, he's
Salvador,
probably
and
talked
where the
like
migrants are coming
twice,
from, go
3 times this
fix
whole
the
debate.
problem
Tim
at
Ryan?
its source and use diplomacy to do
a
it.
joke.
Senator Klobuchar, your response?
I think we agree. I just think you have to leave open the
What creeps you out?
possibility of meeting with
This guy?
anyone at any place.
Ooh, he's
what
super
I don't
tall.
like is
Taller
how
than
this
her.
president has handled it. You've heard of the Truman Doctrine, the Monroe Doctrine.
I'm pretty sure Elizabeth
He's done
Warren is
the
standing
go it
on a
alone
box
doctrine.
holiday.
with the rest of the world.
I'm pretty sure she
Taking
is.
us out of the climate change agreement, out of the Iran nuclear agreement,
Not all
out
of
of the
them.
Russian nuclear agreement.
Most of the
and I
guys
agree
don't
with
stand on a
that.
box because
And
it
when
makes them
he
look
was
weak and
just
small.
with
But the
Vladimir
ladies
Putin
stand
at
on a
the
box to
G20,
make them look
when
tall
he
and
was asked
powerful.
about
So.
invading our democracy,
What about the short
he
guys
made a
though?
joke.
Do they don't
Hundreds of
stand on a
thousands
box?
of Americans
you
have
get caught
lost their
standing on a
lives on the
box, that's
battlefield
even
to
worse.
protect our
But, like-
democracy and our right to vote.
Yeah, if you're a
Four
girl,
little
it's like,
girls in
okay, yeah, you can
Birmingham,
stand on a box.
Alabama,
But if you're a
lost
guy
their
and you
life
get
in a
caught
church
standing
at
on a
the height of
box,
the Civil Rights Amendment. So I
Like
do
if
believe
you're
you
the
meet with
executive
people,
Facebook
but you
and
better
you're sitting
have
on
an
a
agenda,
booster
and
seat.
you better
Yeah.
put our interests of our
Make
country
memes
first,
about it.
not the Russians.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Mayor Buttigieg, you served in Afghanistan.
Martini,
Just
whether you like
yesterday,
the system
2
or
US
not,
service
like one of
members
these
were
people could be
killed.
our
There are
president.
currently about
And I think it's
14,000
important to stay up to
US
date.
members in Afghanistan.
Martini.
You've said,
Martini.
quote, one thing everybody can agree on is that we're getting out of Afghanistan. Will you withdraw
Martini, it's
all
all
US service
just-
members
yeah.
by the end of your
And even
first
though like we're
year
getting them on
in
YouTube,
office?
we're getting
We will
severe
withdraw.
views
We
on
have to.
Facebook.
In your first year?
Yeah.
Yes. Look, around the world, we will do whatever it takes to keep America safe.
I'm so glad you're
But
here,
I
Martini.
thought I was one of the
Martini's
last
madder than I
Russians
am. Good
leaving
Lord.
Afghanistan when I thought I was turning out the lights years ago. Every time I see
Oh, he
news
was the
about
troop?
somebody
Uh-huh.
being killed in
Yeah,
Afghanistan,
he was a
I
vet.
think about what it was like to hear an explosion over there and wonder whether it
Well,
was somebody that I served
good
with,
for you,
somebody
bro.
I knew, a friend, roommate, colleague.
Thank him for
We're
his
pretty
service.
close to the day when
Okay.
we will wake up to the news.
No, I just
of a
hope you had a good
casualty in
time.
Afghanistan.
But why'd he
who was
go
not
though? Like,
born
why'd he go?
on 9/11?
Because he was in the
I was
reserves
sent into
and he
that
got
war
deployed.
by a congressional
don't go do
authorization as well as a president.
Why do you
And we need
do
to
the
talk
reserves?
not only about
Why?
the need for a president committed
he
to ending
didn't
Wanted to
good
serve his
but the fact that
country. I
Congress
can't. I
has
don't know.
been
You'd have to
asleep
ask him that.
at the switch. And on my
Maybe he
watch,
wanted
I
that
will
free
propose
school,
that any
but he's got debt,
authorization
so
for the
obviously
use
that's
of
not it.
military force have a 3-year sunset and have to be renewed because if men and women in the
Or,
military have
Trump's
the courage
totally
to
gonna
go
get a
serve,
second term.
members of Congress
I don't
ought to
know.
have
Thank you,
summon the
Mayor.
course to vote on whether they ought to
Thank
be
you, Mayor. I want to bring in
It
Congressman
helps to be
O'Rourke.
also be a vet.
Oh, for sure.
Returning rather to the question
Yeah.
of whether
And then
you would
shit got
withdraw all
crazy
U.S. service members from
when I was in the
Afghanistan
desert.
during your first
have
year
to
in
speak
office
Spanish.
as president. How do you
Yeah,
respond
I
to
just
that?
wanted to come
I
in on
would,
the
in my
weekends.
first
Next thing you
term
know, I'm
in
working,
office, agree that
Ah.
there's
shooting at people.
nothing about perpetuating this war already in its 18th year that will make it any better. We've satisfied the reasons for our involvement in Afghanistan in the first place, and it's time to bring those service members back home from Afghanistan,
Yeah, I
but
agree with
also
this.
from Iraq, also from Yemen and Somalia and Libya and Syria. There is no reason for us to be at war all over
From
the
everywhere?
world tonight.
Now,
As
I'm not
president,
gonna
I will
lie.
end those wars, and we will not
That would
start
totally
new wars. We will not
destabilize the
send more
region,
US service
but I
members
don't care.
overseas to sacrifice their lives and to take the
you know,
lives of others in our name. We can
everybody
resolve
will
these
immediately
challenges
shit bricks.
peacefully
Thank
and
you,
diplomatically.
Congressman. Governor
Yeah.
Hickenlooper, you disagree.
Yeah,
you
if we
said
just
that
pulled
you're
out,
open to
it would
keeping
totally
some service
destabilize
members
the region.
in Afghanistan
But I don't
beyond
care.
your first term.
I look at it as a
Not my problem.
humanitarian issue. And with
Sort
all
it
due
amongst
respect,
yourselves.
You're looking at the
Sorry.
condition of women. If we completely
Hope
pull our
everything
troops
works
out
out
of there,
okay.
you're going to see.
It's like when two
a
people are arguing,
humanitarian
instead of
disaster
getting
that will
involved, you just leave the
startle
room.
and-
You know,
and frighten
I'll let you
every
guys
man,
work this
woman,
out.
child in this country. And I don't think. I mean, we
But
have
first, you have to make yourself an
troops
integral
in over
Uber
400 different
of
locations
the
around world.
room.
Most of them are small. They're peacekeeping. They're not
And then be
greatly
like,
at risk.
okay, you guys
We're
sort
going
it
to
out.
have to be in that place. Look at the progress that's happening in that country. We're going to turn our backs.
You're the
and walk away
mediator
from
between the
people that
argument, the
risk their
only
lives to
method
help
of
us build a
communication between the
different
two,
future
and you're like,
for
you know what, this is just too
Afghanistan
much
and
for me.
that world.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Warren, you want to make it U.S. policy that the U.S. will never use a nuclear weapon unless another
Leave the
country
room,
uses
and then
one
come
first.
back
Now,
with pizza
President
rolls.
Obama
That's what it
reportedly
is.
considered
Like,
that
look, I made
policy,
pizza
but
rolls, you
ultimately
guys.
decided against it. Why should the U.S.
Not
call
gonna be
me out,
okay
I'm
with
gonna
it.
have some
hands
pizza
with that
rolls.
policy?
Because it makes the world
It's something
safer.
Israel.
Calm
The
down.
United
Palestine's
States
like,
is not going
pizza
to
rolls?
use nuclear weapons preemptively. And we need to say so to the entire world.
We don't have to
it
say so.
reduces the likelihood that someone miscalculates, someone understands our first responsibility is to keep ourselves safe.
See, I actually
And
don't
what's
agree with
happening
this.
right now with Donald Trump, as they keep
The idea, like,
expanding
oh,
the
we're not
different
going to
ways
use
that
nukes
we have
ever. Like, I hate nuclear
the different
weapons, but
ways
like,
that they could
the
be used
mutually
puts
assured
us
destruction is pretty much the
all
only
at
thing that's
risk.
kept us from
We
dying at this
talk
point.
about what's happening around
Yeah.
the world. I have 3 older brothers who served in the military. I see that they would do anything. Our military is the best on earth. But we should not be asking our military to take on jobs that do not have a military solution. We need to use our diplomatic tools, our economic tools, and if we're going to send someone into war, we better have
John
a
here,
plan
Bernie
for how we're
Sanders
gonna get 'em
2020.
out on the other end.
Thank you, Senator. Governor Bullock, your response
boy.
to
Thanks
Senator
for
Warren's
coming.
proposal
Thanks,
to
John.
the U.S. never use a nuclear weapon first?
Who am I going to drop a comment
wouldn't
on
wanna take
or
that
a
off the
nuke
table.
on?
I think America's strength, we have to be able to say that. Look,
This debate.
never, I hope, certainly in my term or
Oh,
anyone
this guy
else,
just reminds me of my
would we
principal
really
from
even
high
get
school.
close to pulling that trigger. But by the
Do they
same
all
token,
remind you of your principal from high school?
America's strength, and
Oh,
look,
well, no, this guy
president's
does,
made
but the other
America
one
versus
just
America
makes me
alone.
think of principal.
Our allies
Yes.
no longer trust us. Our
What?
adversaries are with us. But going from a
Where were
position
these
of
people
strength,
12
we
years
should be
ago?
negotiating down so there aren't
nowhere.
nuclear weapons. But drawing those
Political
lines
rock
and saying,
bottoms.
At this point, I wouldn't do.
Thank you, Governor. Senator Warren, your
You're the
response?
But we
man.
don't expand trust around the world by saying,
You're the
no,
man,
we
Dave.
might be the first ones to use a nuclear weapon.
Man.
That puts the entire world at risk and puts us at risk right in the middle of this. At a time when Donald Trump is pulling out of our nuclear negotiations,
See,
expanding the
I don't-
opportunities for nuclear proliferation around the world, has pulled us
Donald
out
Trump
of
is
the
pulling
deal in
out.
Iran. Iran is now working on its nuclear weapon. The
That's what I
world
heard.
gets closer and closer to nuclear warfare. We have to have an announcement.
We're already on the
policy
precipice of
that
it,
has won
first
the
off.
entire
The easiest
world
way to get into a
live with.
nuclear war
We
is to
need
stay
make that clear.
involved in
We
these
will
overseas
respond
conflicts.
if someone else
It's the
does
fastest
not
way.
first.
Please respond.
Part I agree with. But by the same token, like, we need to get back to nuclear proliferation.
Woo.
But when you have folks, proliferation.
We need to, yeah,
Reduce
we
it.
need to
They're looking at
proliferate
each
those
other.
nukes.
When you actually
staring.
have Korea, when you have
Each other.
He totally
I
stepped
don't
over
want to
his
turn
own
around and say,
words
well,
there.
Detroit has to
Oh,
be gone
God.
before we would ever use that. When so many crazy folks are getting closer to having a nuclear weapon, I don't want them to think I could strike this country and I and we as the United States of America wouldn't do a thing. Part of the strength
Little
really
D3 is here.
the ability
Governor
to
Bullock.
deter.
Governor, thank you very much. Moving on now.
Can I add
Moving
something
on
to that
now, please,
discussion,
Senator.
Gus?
Senator, please. Moving on now.
Is David
As you know,
saying
to serve as
something?
President of the United
Is he
States, all of
watching
you know
on a
this, you
separate
have to be
stream?
at least 35 years old.
Huh?
So, Mayor Buttigieg, you just qualified. You're 37, the youngest
This is
candidate
Goldie
in this
Three.
field. Standing next to you is the oldest
37
candidate,
years
Bernie
old.
Sanders at age 77. Should voters
77,
take
wow.
into consideration
You know, he's
age
only a few years off
when
of Trump,
choosing a
though.
presidential candidate?
I don't care how old you are. I care about your vision. But I do think it matters that we have a new generation of leaders stepping up around the world. Leaders like I actually think it's good that the Prime Minister of New Zealand's gotten a lot of attention in Democratic debates. She's masterful. She is younger than I would be. when I
Yeah,
take office.
Ariel, he
This
was.
is the kind of trend America might be leading instead of following, but only if it's actually backed by the right vision. And we can have great presidents at any age. What I will say is,
Yeah,
we need the
he-
kind of vision
he
that's gonna
definitely
win.
knew he was gonna get
We
that
cannot have a
question.
vision that amounts to back to normal. The only reason we got this president is that normal didn't work. We have to be ready to take on this president.
I won't
and,
use
by the
my
way,
opponent's
something that
youth
hasn't
and
been talked about as
inexperience
much
against
tonight,
him.
take on his enablers in Congress. You know, when David Duke
He has basically as much experience as
when
Bernie
David
does,
Duke
as
ran
far
for
as I'm
Congress,
concerned.
Whoever ran for governor, the Republican Party 20 years ago ran away from him. Today, they are supporting naked racism
here,
in the White House,
Andy.
or at best silent about it. And if you are watching this at home, and you are a Republican member of
Can I have
Congress,
some of that?
consider
Wait,
the
oh,
fact
what are you
that
doing?
when the sun
Sorry.
sets on your career, and they are writing your story of all the good and bad things you did in your life, the thing you will be remembered for is whether in this moment with this president, you found the courage to stand up to him, or you continue to put party over country.
That's not going to be in your obituary, whether he stood up to Donald Trump or not. No one's going to put that in your obituary. I promise.
Well, Pete is
Unless the
right.
government starts writing
It's a
obituaries.
question of vision. That's what it is. Whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're in between. And my vision, among other things, says that if we're going to fight for health care, we don't take money from the drug companies.
Bernie has about as much
or
odds as
the
winning this
insurance
presidency as I do.
companies. And I've asked all of the candidates who are running.
Bernie has
they
no
say
chance.
They will not accept money from
His
those
time
entities
passed.
who, in
Bernie
my
could have been
view,
president.
are going
His
to
time
war
passed.
against the American people in terms of health care.
It's going to be Warren, Kamala Harris,
A new
or
vision says that we must
that's pretty much it at this
cancel
point.
completely
Maybe Biden,
student
if he can
debt,
recover.
because
Maybe.
the younger generation in this country today, for the first time in modern American history, will have a lower standard of living than their parents.
Thank you, Senator Sanders. The
I'd
debate
like to
continues
respond
right
on
after
that,
this.
too. I'd
Please.
like to be heard on
Thank
this.
you.
Why
The
is
debate
that?
continues right after this real quick.
Okay, I think they're about to be closing statements.
Student debt will have
right.
lower standard of living.
You guys man the stream for like
I-
2 seconds. I drank a giant gallon of water, so I gotta pee real quick.
Austin is the city.
Yeah,
of
no, that's
creation.
fine. Why will
It
the
is
current
a fantastic environment to make new things.
generation have a lower standard of living, like to be able to pay back their student debt? No, that's a question though. Like that's the question.
I don't know. Should be fucked up. Sorry.
Like, 'cause no, I'm.
Sorry, David.
No, we're not. We're on YouTube. Oh, David upstairs too. But that's what I'm wondering. Like, is first of all, I mean, to me, college is not the only way. Like, and who pushes college though? Who pushes it the most? Like, I mean, you want to be a doctor, a lawyer. You want to be like,
You gotta go to college for that.
yeah, sure. That's important. But like, where are the people who fix things around my house? You know what I mean? Like my cousin was going. He was no, right. He was. Randy was an apprentice, was a plumber, and was doing amazing, beautiful work. You know, like what's wrong with that? I feel like, and when I went to school for massage, it was like not college, it was a trade school. That's oh, you're going to trade school, and your friends are going to college for 4 years. That felt like it felt like it was like a diss. Yes, thank you.
Are you a licensed massage therapist?
I am.
That is awesome.
I mean, well, like technically PA like didn't have like licensing, and then
But went to school for
I'm grandfathered in because of my hours that I put into it. So yeah, but yes, I am. Yeah,
That's cool. I didn't know that.
yeah. I don't share that a lot. I don't know why.
Hey, it's
I don't
another
know
skill
why.
set.
It is, and you know what? No one can
she's got
take
nice
that.
hands.
No one can
Yeah.
take that from me.
I was about to say, I bet-
Nobody can take that.
Do you have like the massage bed and everything? You give David a
I do
massage.
have, yeah. I do. I have. No, but you know why though? You know why it doesn't come out often? Is because Dave's attention span is shit. We'll talk
gets
about
bored.
that some other time. Yeah, he does. He's like, "Can I have my laptop under here? Like, I'm just bored, like laying." I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be relaxing right now.
Yeah.
Like, not typing shit into the internet.
I really like. I mean, I'm one of those. I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't, but I really enjoy a good massage. I'm just saying. So.
Oh, I love.
I wouldn't know.
I have. Shut up. You are joking.
I am joking.
Tell everyone
That
you're
was a
kidding.
horrible joke.
It was terrible.
Nightmares beating David up.
I know. But I have a 90-minute massage coming to me from my mom. She bought me a gift card. So no, but a gift card. I'm pumped. I'm so pumped. I can't wait. Yeah, it's important. So is going to a chiropractor.
That's what I need to
Like,
do. I need to go to a
Yes.
chiropractor. My lumbar is
All
just
these-
screwed.
Oh, yes. All these things I did when I was pregnant with my kids. Yes, we're going to go and we're going to do, and this is how it's going to be.
We have covered
And now that they're all born, and I'm just like, I'm fucked. And listen to them upstairs.
Oh, these are
I was
closing
raised in a
statements.
single-parent household, at times
Oh,
paycheck
man.
to paycheck.
This is the shit.
Only knew there was
Christian,
a governor's
thank
house
you.
in town because I delivered newspapers to it.
Look
so
at
I've made
this.
it about 4 blocks in life.
Oh, see, he's just like
Worked
us.
my way
He
through
delivered
college,
newspapers
paid my
when
way
he was a
through
kid.
law school.
You mean you
But
you weren't born
I
into
had a
politics?
chance to actually go from delivering newspapers to governor's house as a kid to now raising our 3 kids. We got to recognize for far too many people in America that shot no longer exists. And for far too many in this country, it never
here we go.
has. I'm running for president
I
to
clicked too
beat
much.
Donald Trump.
Oh my
Win
gosh.
back the places we lost. And make
yeah.
sure that Americans know that where Washington has left them behind in their economy and their political system, I'll be there. This isn't a choice just between center and left, or about we don't have to choose between what we don't want and what we can't afford. Folks want a different way.
Stay hydrated,
They want to
folks.
believe the economy and our democracy can work for us. That's why I'm running for president.
Thank you. Ms. Williamson?
Yeah.
Yes, our problem
It's a
is not
beer.
just that
It
we need to
hydrates.
defeat Donald Trump. We need a plan to solve institutionalized hatred, collectivized hatred,
Yeah.
and white
She
nationalism.
has no chance.
And in order to do
The
that,
other
we
guy
need
has
more
no
than
chance.
political
Most of this
insider
field has no
game and
chance.
wonkiness and
I think we're
intellectual
going to see
argument.
about 8
Those
people.
things will not defeat
I think we're
Donald
going to see
Trump.
8 to 10
We
people
need
in the
some radical
primaries
truth-telling.
next debate.
Not just to talk about health care, but talk
Instead of
about
20,
why we're so
and
sick
it'll be
all
on
the
one
time.
night.
We need to have a
which will be
serious
nice.
conversation
Yeah,
about
because
race
right now
and
it's
what
like
is
2
truly
nights.
owed.
Yeah, where they're.
Even on the subject of foreign policy, it's all about symptoms and not about cause. We need to talk about the fact that the United States has sacrificed our moral leadership, the fact that countries
Like
see
this
us
lady,
not
like, I
only
like to listen to
domestically
her
but
talk, but I don't
internationally
wanna be
with
anywhere near
policies
her.
that simply
No,
support
yeah.
our corporate
I don't want
interests.
to.
The
I don't
fact
even want
that
to be
our
in the same
national
room.
defense agenda is driven more by
She's
short-term
like way over there, like
profits for defense
I don't know, there's something
contractors than by
comforting about
genuine
it, but
peace
like I don't want to
building.
be in the
There's
same
some
small room.
corruption
You know?
that is so deep, ladies and gentlemen. And until the
If Bernie
Democratic
Sanders
Party
is our
is
next
ready to
president,
speak to
I
the
will
deeper corruption,
eat a small
knowing that
portion
we
of a shoe.
ourselves sometimes, because of our own corporate donations, have participated. then
Just
I'm
because I
afraid
don't want to
those
eat a
who
whole
vote for
shoe and
Trump will
die,
continue
but
to
I'll
vote for
eat a
Trump.
small portion
And
of a
those
shoe.
who might not like Donald
there's a
Trump
chance.
Is it a
will
used
continue
shoe?
to stay home. I want a politics
new
that goes
shoe.
much deeper. I
Old
want a
shoe.
politics that speaks to
Adds
the heart.
flavor.
Because the only way to fight, you keep talking about how we're going to fight Donald Trump. You can't fight dog whistles. You have to override them. And the only way you can override them is with new voices, voices of
feels like
energy
she's
that
doing a
only
TED
come
Talk or
from the
something.
fact
Yeah.
that America has been
I
willing to
like
live
listening
up
to her.
to our own
Yeah,
mistakes,
but I don't wanna be in the
atone
same
for
room
our
as
own
her.
Yeah.
mistakes, make amends for our own
Like-
mistakes, love each other, love our democracy, love future generations, something
Democracy
emotional and
sucks.
psychological that will not be emerging from anything on this
beep,
stage.
beep,
It
beep,
will
beep.
emerge from something
Beep, beep, beep,
I'm
beep.
the
Beep,
one
beep, beep.
who's qualified to bring forth.
Congressman Delaney?
Ooh,
John
yeah.
F. Kennedy famously said, we should not seek the Republican answer. We should not seek the Democratic answer. We should seek the right answer.
That's because he was
right when he said it,
swamped in
and
a
he's right
locked
today as
Congress.
well. Donald Trump is the symptom of a disease, and the disease is divisiveness.
See him in
And
ice
I'm the only
cream
one on the stage talking about curing that disease, which with
Well,
big
Joe
ideas
Biden said
like
he was going to
national
cure cancer,
service.
so
By focusing
Yeah,
on
well,
actually
you know
solving
what?
problems.
we'll get to listen to him
Only if
tomorrow.
he's elected.
Together, we can fix healthcare and build infrastructure. We can invest in not just technology, but people
Bernie Sanders
and
got moved to the
entrepreneurs,
kids' table.
whether they be in Storm Lake, Iowa, or
He's
Detroit,
with
Michigan,
Warren.
or Baltimore, Maryland.
He's with Warren,
We
and
can
Warren's a
fight
pretty big
climate
name in
change
this race.
And reimagine our education
Unfortunately.
system. But we have to do it with real solutions,
Maybe it's for ratings.
not impossible promises. Isn't it time we had a president who was a leader in both the private
Yes.
sector
The
and
disease
in
is government. Thank
to
you.
lead us into the future? I promise, as president, I will restore vision, unity,
Oh, I
and
promise.
leadership and decency to this country.
Doesn't mean
And that's
anything.
why I'm running for president.
Yeah, you
Thank
can't promise shit.
Congressman Ryan?
Anybody can say that.
So in a few
I
minutes,
could
all
say
of the
that.
pundits are going to be
Vision.
looking at this
Oh, look,
debate
Tim
and
Ryan's back.
Who captured the left lane?
Forgot he
Who
was here for a
captured the
second.
center lane? And who captured the moderate lane? I hope tonight, at some level, I captured your imagination. Your imagination
God, I almost just
about
threw up
what
my
this
water.
country could be like
Gag.
if we united.
I hope
if we
I
put together
captured
real
your
policies
imagination.
that weren't left or right,
You
but
got it.
So
new
super
and
Disney.
better. That's how we
Disney
win
right
the
now.
future.
Yeah.
It's new and better. A new and better economy. a
No,
new
there
and better
hasn't been a
education
Mickey
system,
Mouse
a new and
advertisement
better
yet. It's
healthcare
not
system
Disney.
that focuses on prevention, an education system that focuses on the trauma of our kids.
If this was hosted by Disney, there would be
There's not gonna
Star
be a
Wars
state.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Not going to be a
There's
superstar.
Ewoks on the
It's
stage.
going to fix all this. It's going to be you
Ooh,
and me.
Yeah, sure.
It's going to be us.
And me.
That's how we fix this country.
It's gonna be us.
You and I
me.
coming together to do big things.
But I'm the
Us to
president, so
imagine
don't vote for
the
yourself
country that we
because it's
want
actually me,
by
but it's
coming
us.
together. Not left
You
or right.
and us and me.
You
Yeah.
Mostly
better.
me and us.
A lot of me.
But don't forget to vote for me.
Thank you. And what a night. I've loved it. I'd like to ask every
Wait,
American
who's this guy?
to imagine
Oh,
that
it's
you
the
are
not so angry Bill
facing
O'Reilly.
life-threatening surgery tomorrow.
I remember now.
Would you choose a doctor who had a track record of proven success,
Who
who'd actually
is?
done the work,
Who's?
or someone who had just
Who's?
talked about it?
What?
That's the question
Surgery
we're facing in
tomorrow?
this primary. I've actually got a track record as a small business owner, as a mayor, and as a governor. We expanded healthcare.
You all right?
Colorado got near universal coverage. We fought climate change directly. Right? We beat the NRA.
A lot of lines
And for the
and a
last
ball.
3 years, we've been the #1 economy in the country.
I like how he says
We
he
can
beat
ramp
the
all that
NRA
up.
when the NRA
I'm
is
as
basically like a
progressive as
chihuahua
anybody
that's
up on
just
this
rolled
stage,
over on the
but I'm
ground.
also
Please
pragmatic.
don't take my guns.
And I've done the things
You
that
can
both
have
these
the
other people
bump
were just
stocks,
talking
just
about.
don't take my guns.
And I know I can get results. And I can lead the people of this country toward a stronger, healthier, and a more secure future, and defeat Donald Trump and return this country to its glory. Thank you.
Apparently they can all beat him.
He is.
I just don't see John
Poor guy.
Hickenlooper
Oh, God.
lasting.
People.
Oh.
And out there today
His
is Casey
His
Joe's
poor
mom.
wife has
Casey
to be
Joe was
like-
a champion high school swimmer from a small town.
You're doing
She got
good.
sick, went to the emergency room, and got hooked on opioids.
Who?
The last thing that she said to her mom was, "Mama,
She's dead."
it's not my fault." And she died. A lot of Americans say the same
Oh,
thing every
OD
day.
on
Oh, what
That is
the
what I will
fuck?
stand up for, and what I will stand up against are companies like those pharma companies that got her hooked on those opioids
you by the
and didn't tell the
heartstrings.
doctors or the
Yeah.
patients what was going to happen. We need someone
Yeah, you
that
got
has
grabbed.
people's back.
I mean,
We
what did
also
you
need someone
not
that-
want to
No.
give her
And
morphine? I
have one
mean,
in
No, no,
I'm
East
sorry.
Bend. I win in the Midwest.
Why is nobody
I can win in
monitoring
states like
how much she's
Wisconsin
getting?
And Michigan and
Yeah,
Iowa.
anybody can get addicted. You
also
go into
will
the
do my
hospital
job
once, and
without
there's a
fear or
chance you can walk
favor,
out with an
just like I did as a
opioid addiction.
prosecutor, and get through the gridlock like
Ooh.
I've done as a senator, where I've
That's
passed
shitty.
over 100 bills where I've been the
Why
lead
though?
Democrat.
Why? Why
And
is that
last,
possible?
yes,
It's because
I
of the
will
way it
govern
messes with your brain.
integrity. We have the
Morphine
president
why
is
will
like-
turn
why is
off
it
their
okay?
TV when they
Like,
see
why
him.
did they?
Because
Not
morphine's
why can't they?
super
I will make you
effective.
proud
It does
as
its
your
job very
president.
well,
Congressman O'Rourke?
extremely well.
We are as divided and
Were they not aware that
polarized as a
opioids are
country
addicting?
as
Yeah.
we
You
have
can
ever
opt
been.
out of getting it,
And right
and you
now
can
we
get
have
weaker
a
stuff.
president who
But if you
uses
wake up
fear
during
to try to
surgery,
drive
that's your
us
choice.
further
You know.
apart.
And
Yeah,
to meet
yeah,
this
yeah,
challenge,
He's like,
we
I'm
have to
during
have
surgery.
Yeah, you don't
one
want to wake
another
up and your
and a
entrails
faith
be
in the
exposed.
future
Like,
of this
oh,
country
they're in my
that
liver.
includes
You know.
everyone. My whole life, I've been
But you're on
including
the
people
opioids,
in
so
the
it's all
success
good.
of
But
this
it's
country.
okay.
Starting a small business with high value, high wage, high skilled jobs in the third poorest urban county
Shut
in
your
America.
mouth about the NRA
Serving on
rolling
the
over
city
for
council
Trump.
and holding
They've
town
been
hall
rolling
meetings
over for
every
years,
single
but
week
Trump
to
was the
remind
first one to
myself
really
who it
exploit
is that I
them.
serve at the end of the day. And in Congress, being in the
NRA
minority,
cares
but
about
working
the
with
Second
Democrats and Republicans alike
No, they
to
don't.
deliver for my constituents and this country. And then in
NRA
Texas,
cares about getting
this
paid.
last year,
And they're-
traveling
at this point,
to
they're
every
just
county, not writing anybody off, not
poaching
taking
off of that
anyone
group.
for granted.
Last
And at the
chance
end of
for
the
some
day,
Spanish
I know,
winning
right?
more
Come on.
votes than any Democrat
Speak.
had in the history of the
Come
state,
on.
He won't
winning
do it.
independence for the
Adios.
first time in
Say
decades,
it.
and winning nearly 500,000 Republicans,
Say
and those
adios.
38 electoral
He got
college
raked
votes in
over the
Texas
coals
are
for
now in play,
speaking
and
Spanish
I
the
can
first
win them.
time. He won't
That
do
is
it.
how we defeat Donald Trump in
Yeah,
November
no, he's
of
not
2020,
allowed.
and how we
He's
bring
not
this
allowed.
divided
He's
country
fighting
together
it right
again
now.
in
That's what
January
he
of
does at the peak.
2021.
He's fighting it.
Thank you.
He's fighting the
Mayor
Spanish.
Buttigieg.
Oh yeah, he's holding
There's
back.
good news and
Yeah.
bad news. I'm going to
Damn
start with
it.
the bad news. Our country's in trouble. GDP is going
Oh.
up, and life expectancy is going down.
What?
Think about what that means.
I don't know. I love
It's
this
only
little
getting
guy.
tougher.
What?
By 2030, we will have passed the point of no return
Life
on climate.
expectancy is
There will be
down like
130
3
million
months or
more
some
guns on
shit.
our streets.
It's not
I'll be in my
anything
40s then.
even worth
If you
caring
have
about.
kids, think about how old they will be then.
Oh, you're gonna make it to
But here's the
82
good
instead of 83
It's
on
not
average?
too late. We can tell our kids that before we ran out of time, just before we ran out of time, in 2020, we did what it took to deliver a climate that we didn't have to wonder if it could
I'm not
support
here.
us. To deliver a
Tell
society
Davey,
where
I'll be up in a
race
minute.
has
I
no
will.
bearing on your health or your wealth or your relationship with law enforcement. that we did what it took to deliver an economy where a rising tide actually does lift all boats. We can do this.
Doing those
If
dollars.
and only if we are ready to walk
terrible
away
mom.
from what hasn't worked.
I think
with
this
bold
dude snitched
action
on me in
and
6th
win,
grade math.
Not only defeat this president, but defeat his
Teacher.
congressional allies.
Reminds
with
me
a
of
defeat
someone
so
I went to
big that
high
it
school
reunites
with.
the Republican Party with its conscience, as well as bringing Democrats.
I think these
to
people
office.
all remind you of high
Join
school.
me, and let's make it happen.
Senator
They're either your professors or your principals or your
From the time I was
classmates.
7 years old, I had a dream.
You're that
She
I
was
wanted
the
to be a
counselor.
public school teacher.
Elizabeth Warren was the school counselor.
But my daddy ended up as a janitor, and
never
by the
told me
time
that
I
an
graduated
Imagineer
from high
was a
school,
job
my
that I
father
could get.
sent me off to college. My big chance was what was then
No,
a
she
commuter
wanted me to do
college
accounting.
that cost $50
Right.
a semester. For me, what this election is all about is opportunity. Every budget,
old is
every
she?
policy that we talk about is
I think
about
she's-
who's
I don't
going
know.
to get
Let's find out.
opportunity. Is it going to go to the
$50
billionaires
a
or is it going to
semester.
go to our kids? Right now, for decades,
School used to be really
we
cheap
have had a government that has been on
before
the
something
side
happened.
of
She's
the
70.
rich and the powerful. It has been on the side of the wealthy.
They're all
and that means
70.
it has
Trump Paul's
not been
too
on
old.
the side of everyone else. Not
I swear
on
to
the
God,
side
all the
of people
front runners
living
are
on our
so
Native American
old, besides
reservations, people living
Kamala
in inner
Harris,
cities,
and
people
even she's
living in
not
small
exactly a
farms
spring
Those
chicken.
and small
youngins.
communities
Can't trust those
across this country.
youngins.
How do we beat it? We beat it by
Trump
being
is 70,
the party
Bernie's
of
70,
big
Joe
structural
Biden's
change.
70.
Give people a reason to show up and vote.
How old's Ron
And
Paul?
we beat
Bernie
it
is
by
like a
building
hard
a
70
grassroots
though.
movement
Yeah.
across this country.
It's like
Not
70.
showing up
Well, they
behind
just said
closed
it. It's like
doors with
76 or
millionaires,
something,
but
77.
actually building it person by person across
the
this
block.
Been
country
around.
with small dollar donations.
Yeah, he's been a
with
commie for a hot
volunteers,
minute.
with
He was
people
there
who
with
show
the
up
USSR.
And say, I have a stake in this democracy. I will not only beat Donald
was a
Trump
commie
in
when it was
2020,
really cool.
I'll start to make real change come 2021.
Senator Sanders.
The purse slips again.
Somebody who grew up in a family that lived in a rent-controlled
Purse
apartment in
slips.
Brooklyn, New York, and lived paycheck to paycheck. I'm running for
Underbite.
president, not just to
Underbite,
defeat
too.
the most
Underbite.
dangerous president in the history of this country, a guy who's a racist and a sexist and a homophobe. I'm running to transform this country
jaw's gonna come too
and
high
to
and then
stand with the
swallow his
working class of America, which for the last 45 years has been decimated. 2 days ago, I had a remarkable experience which should tell you everything you need to know about what's going on in America. I took 15 people with diabetes from Detroit a few miles into Canada, and we bought insulin for 1/10 the price being charged by the crooks who run the pharmaceutical industry in
Most
America
of
today.
the U.S.'s inflated
But it's
prices are to
not just
offset the
the
cost of
fixing
price-controlled
and the corruption
drugs and
and the greed of
pharmaceuticals
the
in other
pharmaceutical
countries.
industry. It's what's going on in the fossil fuel industry. It's what's going on in Wall Street. It's what's going on with the prison
Have you ever tried
industrial
DMT?
complex.
I feel like Bernie has
We
tried DMT
need a
before.
mass political.
Probably why he got
Story,
kicked out of
bro.
his commune.
Please go to BernieSanders.com.
Have you ever tried DMT?
Become one of our million volunteers. Stand up and take on the greed and corruption of the ruling class of this country. Let's create a government and an economy that works for all of us, not just for 1%.
I don't want to throw up. I don't want to throw
Candidates,
up.
thank you so much. That completes tonight's debate. Join us tomorrow
People
night
are
at 8
gonna go
p.m.
there
Eastern
and just
time
think-
for round 2. 10 more Democratic candidates for president. Right back here in Detroit. Now stay tuned for special coverage of tonight's debate with Anderson Cooper
Yeah.
and Chris Cuomo.
Wow.
Okay, that's enough of that. That's over. All right. Fantastic.
Christian's going to turn that off, and I want to hear what Christian has to say about all of this.
It's all garbage. I think I did pretty good with my live reactions. I tried to interrupt them the least amount possible while still like reacting to what they were saying.
No, it's super, it's hard, and yeah, you did great.
Oh man, did you just confess to international drug dealing? I think so. I think a little bit.
What, James?
Oh man. So yeah, so we got it. Oh, and how does that make you feel? It makes me feel like garbage because this is one of these people has a very good chance of becoming a president, in my opinion.
Oh,
But
yuck, yuck,
One of those.
yuck.
I honestly believe, well, Warren has a chance. Bernie, I don't think has a chance. And then tomorrow, we'll get to see the rest of the people who have a chance.
Yang!
And
Yang
no.
Bucks!
I was
Get those
literally
Yang
just about to say, and Andrew Yang is not one of those people. But what,
You got onto the big leagues?
I'm kidding.
yeah,
'cause
he's going to be
the
going
Yang
up
Bucks.
against. He's going to be going up against Tulsi Gabbard, against Joe Biden, against Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are just going to be. But yeah, Warren and Harris are probably the top two, with Joe Biden if he can recover. If he can recover.
Oh.
And Joe Biden is more likely to get the presidency, I think. I think Kamala Harris and Warren are too polarizing. I don't think they can get the presidency easily. But I think that Kamala Harris has an actual chance, or I think Joe Biden, if he gets the nomination, has a legitimate chance of running a really strong campaign against Trump.
Yeah. Don't you kind of hate it though? Like, don't you kind of just hate the whole thing?
Well, yeah,
like
of course.
that
I mean,
this is.
let me put my shirt up here real quick. Like, all this is dumb, but it's important.
This is super dumb. Yeah.
Like, we can
Yeah.
hate it as much as we want. It's not going away tomorrow. One of these people, either
yeah.
Trump or one of these people in these debates, will be our president. And that's important.
Oh.
So yuck, yeah.
But what you're saying is so true, and it's so like, oh, after watching all of this, I'm like, ha ha ha, you're dumb, and this person, you're like, but thinking that one of them, and that we already have, like, the presidency should not matter this much.
But it does.
It's not supposed to, but it's not supposed to, right?
I mean, sure, a lot of things are not supposed to, you know, but it's just the nature of the beast, I guess, to some extent. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't. I really do. I wish it wasn't.
So how do you cope? How do you cope with this?
I cope?
How do you? Because you read and you watch and you're into all of the news. Like, so how do you cope with what you're hearing when you hear this stupid shit?
I don't know if coping is a good word for it. I think it's more just like acceptance at this point. Like, there were, no matter, even if we lived in Ancapistan, there would be people advocating for systems like this. It's just human nature. Some people are just going to want that big government to be there for them. Now, if they want to do that in their township, I don't care. I'm a volunteerist through and through. That's my number one priority.
Right.
But I think it's important that we recognize the fact that this is not a township. These are not localized threats. These are not things that, like, oh, we have to kind of worry about that commie and like doing something.
Right.
No, this is America. And we've seen through Donald Trump, through Barack Obama, that these presidents, whether we like it or not, have massive influence in our lives.
It's stupid.
Massive influence.
Ugh,
And
I know.
thankfully, I think the Democrats have kind of screwed themselves out of winning the Senate, unless Beto O'Rourke drops out after this next debate and doesn't make it to the other ones, and then runs a Senate. That'll greatly increase their chances of at least getting a 50-50 in Senate.
Okay.
But right now, it doesn't look like they can get a Senate majority unless pigs fly, and that would be terrible because if
But
they
who
won,
knows?
if they won the presidency, won the House, and then won the Senate, they would have free reign to do whatever they wanted.
But how is that possible when there is the other part of America who doesn't want?
Well, because no one cares about the 49%, Mary. They lost. Therefore, their opinion is invalid. Yeah, they're all stupid. That's how majorities work, right? Because the majority of people voted for Hitler, he was automatically the best choice, right?
The Republicans had a majority everywhere, and they couldn't get shit passed either.
Yeah, well, that's because they suck. Honestly, like
the progressives are going to progress.
Oh, they're super progressive, Dave.
they couldn't get anything passed with a majority because they had Donald Trump. If they had literally anyone else who was taken remotely seriously in that seat, they would have been able to pass whatever the fuck they wanted. Also, Republicans really just don't want to pass that many things. When's the last time you've heard Republicans propose big bills that wasn't about defense spending? They're not trying to push new programs. They're not trying to do big restructurings. If anything, they're just trying to mostly deregulate to whatever they think is fair, which is way too high and usually biased towards their specific groups. But That's the biggest distinction. That's why I call Republicans are like our weird, estranged cousins, or we're their weird, estranged cousins. Because whether we like it or not, we have more in commmmon with them than we do with Democrats. Not to say that we're anything close, but if we're just comparing apples and oranges here,
it's just like little bit. We're at least on the fruit tree.
Yeah. So like, if like Democrats were like a vegetable, and then Republicans were like a fruit, like an orange, we'd be like a tangerine, you know?
Yeah, right.
Or like
We're
a grapefruit.
sort of.
You know, it's like we're in the same family of fruits, but
citrus.
we're completely different, you know? If someone
We're
hands you
citrus,
a
but we're not the
grapefruit and you
same.
asked for an orange, you would say, "What is this? This is not a."
Oh yeah. Yeah. No. If I handed my kids a grapefruit when they ask for an orange, they'd be like, no, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
This looks the same, but no.
Even though grapefruit's bomb, but that's just
Yeah.
me.
No, grapefruit is amazing with a little sweetener on top, like
Just how it is. Just how it is.
Oh, but wait, what kind are you eating that it's so tart? It's so
Yeah, but
tart.
I like that. I like cranberry juice
Oh,
too. You know, I like tarty sourness and stuff like that.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
I can embrace it like half the way through, but then I'm like, stevia. We need to stevia this.
Oh, there we go.
Grapefruit, because I can't make it.
I like how
Dude,
Mary
I
tells
can't-
herself not to puke and then pours more beer. Spirit animal. I like that.
Oh, right, yeah.
Gotta have
Woo.
grapefruit raw, no sugar. Thank you, Quirt. Quirt gets it.
No sugar, but I can make it halfway through, and then I'm like, it's too tart. It's
Put it in the
just too
fridge
tart.
and then eat the other half later. No, I'm just-
It's like it's I
like
don't need a ton of sugar, but just like one of these like Salt Bay, like just like
Coat it in sugar.
no, don't coat it in sugar.
I'm going to be doing a whole episode on my thoughts of the
can't
Democratic
wait.
debates, what was said, blah blah blah. I'll be doing all that. You don't have to worry about that. But what I will say before we wrap up here and get rolling is that you don't have to worry about this stuff. There's no point in worrying about it. I don't know why I have my phone in my hand. There's no point in worrying about it because honestly, worrying isn't going to solve anything. You're just going to stress yourself out, make your life miserable. But you should be aware. You should be informed. That's it. So I don't have anything else. That was all I wanted to do was go through that debate. That was plenty long enough. Tomorrow we will be streaming from the Liberty Late Night YouTube page, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I kind of hijacked today's out of necessity.
No, you did
So-
not. You saved it. You did not hijack. You saved the shit.
But we're gonna have to promote the shit out of it to get any views, so we will.
No,
do that.
you
Hey, look,
saved it, Christian.
We have 11 people right now after it's over. I usually have like 2 people on YouTube, so I wouldn't worry about it.
All right, we're gonna do it. This was so great, Christian. Liberty After Dark. You saved this whole evening. Oh my gosh, because
It's
we
kinda
were
like
so
a-
sad. Like an
I
hour
was sad.
ago,
I'm
it's like,
not even sad. I'm mad. I was
yeah,
mad.
no, well now,
You know?
yeah, mad at Facebook. Mad, I was mad, but just this is what we wanted, to hang out with friends and watch
The
circus.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's going to be it. Thanks again for the Liberty Late Night crew for being here. So, yeah, like I said, tomorrow, same time. Well, not the same time technically because we'll be starting when it begins over at the Liberty Late Night Show on YouTube. I posted their link in the comments. I'll post one more before I end. Actually, I think I still have it copy pasted, so I'll just do that right now. And unless you guys have anything in the comments, which I know you guys have super low latency, so there's no excuse. There's a Liberty Late Night YouTube
Thank
link.
you.
Go ahead and subscribe to them. So, yeah. You guys have anything for the audience?
That's it.
That's
Subscribe to
just
PewDiePie.
a great time that we had here tonight. Thank you so much.
All right. You guys take it easy.
You too. Good day.
Yeah, it is.